got the chips. Somebody got the
I
chips.
know, fully, like, opening chips, trying to get it done before. Whoops, my bad.
Hello, everybody. We got the chips.
Right by the mic, too. That's my bad.
Love it. Yeah, so we're doing the January live show for the Big Bad Booty Bitches Book Club, talking about American Rapture. I'm so glad you have the cover because mine is just naked. Fun and fresh. This is a long time coming because we were supposed to talk about this in November. And clearly we didn't because it's March. I don't even, no, I said that wrong. It's not even the January book club pick. It's the February book club pick because we skipped January because I needed a break. Time's a construct. Let's not worry about it. Anyway, the book. Thoughts, feelings. I know some people have read this a while ago, and that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us.
I want to ask: Do y'all have a rating? I'm working with numbers. I'm crunching the numbers right now.
I want to say 4.
Okay.
I'm kind of still marinating on that decision.
Okay, heard.
Yeah, like politely, it's a 3.
Okay.
But it's probably more like a 2.5.
I was gonna say 3.5. So I feel like we're all right around the same spot.
Richie, I just noticed that you changed your name to American.
Sure, yeah, it's a little bit of a stretch. Nightmare Before Richmas kind of worked. This one, it's a stretch.
I love it. I think it's hilarious.
Oh, sorry. Let me not. No brands allowed. Sponsor us.
Sorry, we're not getting sponsored. Pay us, Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's awesome.
I thought it was good. I thought it was not really what I expected. And I'm not sure if it was just that my expectations were off or if it was that it was kind of sold poorly. But
it's also so different from Mayfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has the range. That's for sure. Which I liked it, but I think I maybe would have liked it more if I read it before Mayfly. But I don't know.
I maybe would have liked it if it was half the size.
Sam's like, that was great. Give me half that sandwich. I didn't eat a whole one. Thanks, babe.
Yeah,
no, you're
a little long.
I have to say, I think I spent a significant portion of this book. I guess I'm just gonna jump into spoilers right away. But so main character Sophie, she has the kind of thing going on with the cop Morrow. And I spent so much of this book being like, is he gonna fuck this kid? Like, I could not. I was so stressed for so much of it. And I was like, it hit a point where I was like, this has been going on long enough. I can't tell if she's intentionally trying to make me feel unsettled by this or if she actually thinks this is cute. And I wish less of my brain power had to be dedicated to, is this fully grown adult cop gonna have sex with this 16-year-old kid? Because it wasn't even subtext. It became the text after a while, and I was like, okay.
I have a crush on this man, but I also kind of like this boy, and also that girl over there. We're just
relatable content for being.
There's 16, a lot going on here for romance to be so.
Yeah.
Given that we already had a hard left into Gaytown for 3 pages, and then we dumped that entirely to go back to the adult cop, I was like, we could have done this differently. I feel the love interests were kind of wild, and Ben was there. I'm so sorry. He was far and away the least interesting of the love interests to me, which is so upsetting because it was zombie girl who died, or adult man. Or a perfectly normal boy who was fine, and I just did not care whenever he was there. I was like, all right, yeah, he's there, he's nice, we know, we got it. Great for a real relationship. I don't know if I cared as a character.
Terrible for a book relationship.
Not great.
Yeah, I think my issue is I read this in December, and now I've read Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, which also has an apocalyptic kind of feel to it, and it's so much better than this that I'm now if this was more like that, it would have been great.
That's brutal.
So now I want to read that and see how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still liked it. There's something about her writing. I don't know what it is. that like I was here. I was like, I'm not going to look away from this page. I want to know what's going to happen. But also, it was super different from Mayfly. You know, not nearly to the gross level that was, which is fine. But I appreciate the range. I like that it was set in Wisconsin. I like what she did with like the House on the Rock stuff. I thought that was cool. But
it did feel YA to me, and I don't have a problem with that, but I sort of wish it had been marketed like that.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to be like, hey, it's an adult novel from the POV of a teenager, and a lot of the characters are also teenagers that she's like.
That's been happening a weird amount with books lately, where they're like, hey, what if you follow a child protagonist, but this is for adults? And you're like, but why? Why are we doing this? Yeah. And half the time it's icky.
Yeah, the hand job scene was one where I was like, you know, I'm 28. Like, I appreciate this for what it is, I guess, but I don't know that I, like, want to be here right now. Like, I think I'm good.
I have felt this way about Dark Places by Gillian Flynn.
Really? I haven't read that yet.
Ramona Garber wrote a fantasy, but it was, like, supposed to be her adult debut, and it was, like, she was 17 the entire book, and then just, like, randomly turned 18, and then things started happening, and you're like, wait, I don't like these. So yeah, I'm not a fan of like these adult books that are starring children. Especially if you're gonna talk about like, I don't know, a crazy sex apocalypse thing.
That's kind of the thing for me, is like, if it was just violence, if that was the reason it was an adult book, was because the violence went crazy, went stupid, I'd be like, okay, I can see that, you know, I don't know. If a 16-year-old I mean, I was reading that shit at 16, but like I could get the argument. But yeah, for a sex-based apocalypse, I was like, I don't want this to be about a child. I would love for this not to be about a kid. And I get that it was like the whole thing of trying to like make the metaphor of you know, when you're 16 and you get horny for the first time and you don't know what's going on, and like with people going crazy from this virus. I was like, okay, like heard, I guess, but I still have to keep reading.
But if you want something like that, you could just like read Witchcraft and Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix, where it's like talking about the historical context of girls not being educated about sex and the harms it does. It's like,
okay, heard.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I'm like, this book could have said more, and I didn't feel that because it felt so like, well, let's focus on all these character relationships and weird stuff going around. And I'm like, I don't like my most vivid memories of this book are when they're like, I don't know, at the school or the church or something, and it's a bunch of like people being like, I've escaped, and so now we're gonna hang out here. And that's what I remember the most of this book. And I'm like, I don't like that. That's boring for me.
I think there was a scene in the book where I was like, okay, we might be popping off, and then it just never happened again. And I think that scene happened too early on in the book, where it was when she's on the highway and she's trying to escape right after her mom and dad attacked her. And then somebody catches the virus in one of the cars and starts like trying to break into her car. That scene was sick. I was like, this is gross. This is like tense.
Terrifying.
I'm in, I'm down. And then it never happened again. I was like, oh, okay.
And then it was, oh, this child has found a man and he's going to keep her safe and protected the whole time. And don't you even worry. And then also like, let's trauma dump with this old man's problems. He wasn't that old, but like.
He's like 24.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like, did she need to be a teenager? Because like some of the other people were in their 20s, like early 20s. Why couldn't she have just been like 20 or like 21?
She could have been a college student still living with her parents, and it would have had the same.
Yeah, like did she need to be like 16?
Especially because the whole thing is about her being sheltered by her parents, which is not like age restricted. You can still be 21 and not know anything about anything because your parents have kept you from it. Like, it was weird. Oh, my sister just got home. Hi.
It is kind of funny how often like you guys are saying something and I'm like, yeah, but this other book has done it better. Like Antinora is really good if you want that, and it's following teenagers and it's not gross and weird. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. Other books have just, this isn't like a new topic. And so I think it's hard to be like, I'm going to write a horror book that everybody else has already written, and hard to make it your own and really say something.
Well, I feel like I really did have like hopes for it because Mayfly is kind of doing exactly that. Where it's like, not really anything we haven't seen before, but she put such a fun spin on it, and the dialogue was so fun, and the characters were so cool, and like that one also focused on like relationships, but it just did it in a way that didn't bore me.
You know, I will say that, like, I am so invested in Gideon as a character in Mayfly compared to like anything else. Like, it stuck with me. Whereas this one, I'm like, I don't remember their names. I don't care what happened to them. I don't know.
I did think the representation of like growing up religious, like that hit for me. I grew up not to that extreme, but like similarly, and it did read for me. So I think that might have been my favorite part of the book. But that was another one, they dropped it like 40 pages in, and like then every once in a while they'd be like, yeah, but you grew up Catholic. And also when they first said Catholic, I started laughing so hard because I was like, that's not what Catholics are. Like, they don't do that though. That's not okay. Sure. I don't know. I love how we all said like 3.5 or 4, and then immediately we're like, I thought it was boring and I didn't like
Actually,
it.
like Renaissance. That was my entire wrap up, was being like, I don't remember anything. Everything was like maybe 3-star, but also I'm gonna just completely destroy it this whole time. So that's where I'm at. That's my headspace.
Yeah. I did cry. I did cry at the end, the big climax. But honestly, I think that was just because a kid got and I wasn't expecting that. Like, so. Also, yeah, if you don't like books where dogs die pretty gruesomely, this might be a one to skip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, if you're sensitive to, I don't know, sex and stories, rape, anything like that, this one's hard to get through.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that.
Yeah.
Like, when I read the synopsis, I don't know if I got that. I mean, it's been a while since I read the synopsis, but I feel like maybe there should have been
this big.
Yeah, maybe there should have been more warning about like, hey, it's not just like there's an apocalypse, it's like there's a virus that's infecting people and it makes them like hypersexual and like manic and all this stuff, right? Like that's like kind of a different thing than, oh, it's a virus, or you know.
I feel like they did say hypersexual, but I wasn't expecting them to be rape zombies. Like I thought it was going to be much less of that.
Yeah, no, it's a virus is spreading across America, transforming the infected and making them feral with lust. Sophie, a good Catholic girl, must traverse the hellscape of the Midwest to try and find her family, while the world around her burns. Along the way, she discovers there are far worse fates than dying a virgin. That's the whole synopsis.
I mean,
to be fair, that's kind of everything that happened in the book.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I know that she was looking for her brother, and that was like a big catalyst of like, I've got to go. I don't remember anything about him.
The fact that you said that, and I was like, oh yeah, she did have a brother, huh? When that was like the inciting incident.
Yeah. It's like, oh, a virus is broken out and my brother's in somewhere?
Yeah.
Gotta find him.
I don't know. It's I feel like we've never been more like
nothing. I feel like normally we're like, I have things to say, and this one's like, yeah, sounds like a book.
Maybe because Alea, I texted you and was like, I'm so excited to hear what you think on this. Maybe I was just excited for someone to have an opinion so I could be like, sure.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. There's things about it that I like. I don't know what it is about her writing that I like, but I feel like whenever I'm like reading it, I feel like I'm in it. You know what I mean? But I feel like with Mayfly, it's stuck with me longer than this one will.
Yeah, I listened to the audiobook for this, which I think didn't help my experience. Whereas with Mayfly, like, I got that on my shelf. That's a big deal for me. This one, I was like, I'll get the audiobook from my library, and I listened to it, and it was just a meh experience. It wasn't like a great audiobook either. So I think that also kind of made it feel long.
Yeah.
I read it. I was at my friend Mariah's house, and I asked her if I could come over and just read at her house, and she was like, "Let's go." So I was reading that, and she was reading Butcher and Blackbird. And then anytime anything crazy happened, we were stopping the other one and being like, "Bro, you will not."
Nice.
And I think honestly that experience was more fun than the book itself. If we're being real about it. Her husband came home from work and I was like, dude, she's gonna sleep with the adults. And he was like, okay, good to see you. I'm gonna go play video games now.
I feel like there was a weird focus on the relationships, like romantic relationships. And I mean, she kind of mentions it, like brings up how her brother told her that she focuses on the wrong things when she's always talking about, oh, I wonder if like this person and this person like each other, or if this guy likes me, or if this girl likes me, or
Which is
it's
so
like,
high school. Like, have you seen the show Heartbreak High? That's all it is. It's like that
and
is
it's
high
like,
school.
girl, this shit, there's so much shit going on. And you're like, oh my God, I wonder if he likes me. I wonder if you're going to be alive tomorrow. Like, can we get some priorities? Like, what the fuck? You're 16. I know you're sheltered, but like, you also have like a will to live. I don't know.
One thing I will say, I think she did successfully, is really walk the line between you wondering, is she just horny and figuring that out for the first time, or does she have the virus? I actually thought that that was maybe the most intriguing part of the book. So I thought it was like very silly, but I also thought like it was kind of necessary because it was one of the only things that was like keeping me reading after a while, was to be like, well, does she have it? Like, is she going crazy? But I don't know.
That's a good point. I don't know. I feel like for me, I was feeling like she didn't have it because they said that it takes effect so quick, and that the book spans like multiple days, right? So for me, it was
That's
like,
true, but
okay,
she
well, you
also
don't
got
have
hit
it.
with blood and cum like every 8 seconds, so it was like, damn, well, maybe she has it this time. When she
Right.
slipped in the bathroom in the puddle of bruh, it's like, what are we doing right now? What are we doing?
This book is insane.
It was, but like I wanted it to be more insane, to be honest. Can I say? I wanted it to go crazier.
Yeah.
I felt like it
could have
was
gone
so
camp.
tame. For all of us just talking about like, yeah, the rape zombies were really intense. Were they? Like, I don't
It did feel like a very safe book.
Yeah.
Like it just, the stakes were high, but you knew she was gonna be fine by the end. You knew that like nothing crazy was gonna happen to anybody. Like I think there was such a strong focus on the relationships that you were like, yeah, okay, you're important to the story. She's not gonna just off you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Mayfly where it was like anything can happen, everybody might die.
Oh, if you're my friend, you will die.
Right. Well, and I think it's hard. I think this book is harder because we've already read Mayfly and we know that she can take it there, and she didn't. Which is, I mean, you can have different books that have different, levels of crazy nastiness, but it's like if it would have gone there, it would have been funner. It doesn't have to be like Mayfly level, but
I mean it when I say I think this would have been a YA banger, and I think the worst thing they did was market this as an adult book. Like, I don't think it was. I think it was like an adult book in the way that like a teenager like learns how to say fuck for the first time and like uses it 100 times that week. Like, that was what this book felt like.
Yeah, I feel like this could go really. You're gonna have to tell me the name, Richie, but Andrew wrote Hell
Andrew
Follows.
Joseph White?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like these could go on the shelf next to each other just fine.
100%.
Because like they are
And that was
starting
a
to
banger.
push. Yeah, exactly. They're starting to push young adult to be a little bit more intense and extreme in a way that's still like, God, words don't have those today. Consumable. I'm gonna give you that one today.
Yeah. Yeah, it could have been an extreme horror for teenagers, and instead it was a safe horror for adults that tried to act like it was extreme. And I feel like that was a huge failure on the marketing team.
Yeah, this one also reminds me of First Light by Liz Caron, which is like a vampire one. Same kind of deal. Aw, baby. But it's a similar kind of deal where like people get infected with like the vampirism, and the main girl's a teenager, she's on the run, and her mom gets like infected and all that stuff. It's very similar, but like that was YA. Again, this is like on the shelf next to the other ones that you mentioned. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
they could have easily like aged it up, like made the cop older, made her 20, 21, make it more intense.
Could have just been a horny girl and it'd been like, am I sick or am I just really into this?
Yeah. Or straight up make the cop older, make her the same age, and like make that part of the horror. instead of dancing on the line between like, oh, he's a viable romantic option, this adult cop.
Yeah.
Like, because that's the thing too, is there were things about the book that I felt like would be scary, and then we just did nothing. They were resolved in 8 seconds. The assault at the school that took about 2 paragraphs, and then somebody came and saved her. The assault at the fucking nurse's place where they were hanging out that was resolved in about 2 seconds. Like, it's exactly what you were saying, Alea, where it was like there were no stakes. You knew she was gonna be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that there were multiple sexual assaults in this book, and I was like, but they didn't like mean anything. They didn't mean anything. They were just there to be there.
Yeah.
It felt like this book had 8,000 plots, and then they would just resolve it in 2 pages and then move on to the next one. And I was like, okay, like, I guess.
Which made it feel so long.
But I think you need a more interesting character if you're gonna do that. Like, I've seen books where that's kind of the vibe, and like, you can get down with them if the character is really dynamic. But unfortunately, sheltered Catholic girl is not she's not that bitch. Like, she's really not.
I also, as someone who doesn't have religious trauma, didn't feel like this book really discussed religion that much. That made me go, oh wow, a conversation. Oh wow, I'm learning so much. Like, the social commentary is really good in this one. And like, I'm not a religious person, but like, I've learned a lot about religion dating somebody who is Christian. Like, I know a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't feel like this one was having a lot of discussions about religion and the traumas that come with it compared to like other horrors I've read, especially.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Hell Followed With Us, I think, does a significantly better job.
Yeah. So again, it's hard to be like, this is a good book, because I can point to everything else that has done something similar.
This was one of those books where I read it and then I was like, I liked it, and then I went on Goodreads and read all the bad reviews, and I was like, I agree with all of them. Like, I still like it, but like, I agree with all the critiques. Like,
yeah, like the rating for this is really high for what it is, and also like I will always forgive an author to be like, yeah, I get it. You're writing a book for you. This is therapeutic for you, and I understand that was this for her, but for her to be like, COVID and religion, and also my dog died, and I just need to talk about that in my acknowledgments. I'm like, what is happening right now? It was just a little wild.
I think this is the worst horror that we've read together so far.
Damn. Richie was like, I liked it. Actually, it's the worst horror we've ever read together.
No.
And it's all your fault.
Well, no, I mean, I like, think about it. Like, I don't think it's better than Mary. I don't think it's better than Underneath.
No,
those were good discussions too.
Like, I don't like. I don't think it's better than Mayfly. I mean, I know we didn't really read that one like together, but like we basically.
Oh, you read that on camera? It counts.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll never forget.
I think it's the worst horror, and that doesn't mean it's bad, but I just don't think like.
Not all horror is meant to have discussions. Not every, like, they should, but not all horror really like taps into that, where it's like, oh yeah, there's things to talk about here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one things kind of just happened. The ending climax where and again, actually, hang on, no, I'm gonna back up from that. I'm gonna talk about the gay stuff. What the hell was going on? Hold the phone. What? To wait until like 250 pages into your book to be like, and it's gay now, and then to immediately murder the one gay character is crazy. Is crazy work. To be like, I think maybe I'm into women, and then that night the woman tries to murder her violently, and then she ends up with a man. Hey, CJ, we could have done better than that. We could have done better than that.
Is so funny about that. She's very good friends with Chuck Tingle, the author of Bury Your Gays, and she's part of the audiobook narration of that. And it's a whole story about Hollywood killing off the gays.
Yeah. Oh, CJ. Hey, listen.
It's so funny to me. Like,
that's wild.
Like, okay, great.
Yeah, also, I don't know, like, I don't know. I really had a lot of issues with that, where I was, like, kind of excited for a second, and then I was like, am I just excited because this book is giving me absolute crumbs, and so I'm, like, Like,
A sapphic relationship I can
at
get
least
into?
there's a gay here. Like, I don't think I'm actually interested or intrigued by this relationship at all. I think it's just kind of happening in front of me, and I'm like, nice, they're gay now. Like, I don't think it was anything. So I'm interested to hear if y'all had any strong opinions or if y'all were just like, okay.
I'm gonna say something a little spicy. I think
Shocker.
her friendship with Chuck Tingle influenced this book heavily because he wrote Camp Damascus, which is a
Mhm.
young adult horror all about religion and not knowing about things, and it's got the queer tones to it because that's what
It
he
was
does.
better than this.
Yeah, and shorter.
True.
But it's like, it's hard to be like, oh, my good friend wrote this book. Now I'm going to try and write something similar, but with an apocalyptic thing. So it's interesting to be like, this is my friend, and I'm going to start piggybacking off of them potentially. I don't know. Spicy take.
No, and I think you're right. I just think the first book I was so into. The second book, honestly, it wasn't Chuck Tingle that I was getting like vibes of. I was like, are you trying to like be Chuck Palahniuk right now? Like, that's really what it felt like to me. And I was like, it's not hitting. Like, I think you could just do your own thing. I don't think not every book has to be Choke, you know? Like, I think we're good. I don't know. Choke was actually the book I was thinking about when I was like, there were plenty of books where like things just sort of happen and there's like 8 billion plots, but like the character is interesting enough that you're like, okay, I'll follow him doing whatever he's doing right now. And I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if Chuck Tingle like influenced it, but you'd think the gay stuff would be better if that was the case.
Especially with Bury Your Gays coming out. It's like, come on, girl, what are you doing?
Can we talk about so there's the gay 2 seconds that we got, but also like Ben way like towards the end of the book it just like mentions that he dated girls and dated a guy before.
Mm-hmm.
And also like her brother mentioned like the magazine thing.
Yes, her
it's
brother.
Kind of like I want to get the tag on Goodreads that I'm queer without having to be queer.
Right.
Which I don't want to like
exactly what I felt
say like CJ Lead isn't queer because I think she is, but it's one of those things where you're like, is this for a tag? Is this to be like, check, I checked the box, I did it.
Yeah, I have no idea really anything about CJ Lead, like her personal life or anything like that. So reading it, I did not know if she was gay or straight, but having Ben come out as bisexual felt a little Dumbledore-esque to me, and also kind of read as like, well, we killed off the one character that we sort of canonized as queer, so we better make another one quick before we get accused of burying our gays. I don't know.
I have her as queer author unknown on my spreadsheet, so I'm unhelpful.
Oh.
She lives.
Her bio does say she lives with her boyfriend, but that is also not helpful because bi people exist. So
exactly, it's like I wouldn't be surprised if she was bi. Like Alyssa Cole, for example, I think married to a man, and much later in her life came out as bisexual and wrote a thriller and had a dissociative identity character, but also bisexual, and so like there was a lot of discussion in that one, but like she was like, I am learning my identity, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the CJ Lead thing where it's like, yeah, I'm in a straight relationship currently, but like I also might later come out or am exploring the ideas through my books, which all is fine, but it's just like,
do it better.
Rep if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't
especially
if you're gay or straight, you can still write it well. And honestly, if you are queer, it kind of bums me out more when you write it bad.
Yeah, and it's like also just like interview some people, talk to some people, get real life experience for people. It's not hard.
Yeah. I guess they did have the one moment. Oh, also the moment in the beginning where the nun like gets up on her and is like rubbing her face and she's like, hey Sister Mary, how's it going? What's up with that? Hey, what was that about? This book teetered the line of homophobia for me, I'm not gonna lie. Like it was I was fighting for my life.
Well, it's gotta feel Catholic gays. It's gotta feel a vibe.
Yeah, and I guess they did have that girl eating the other girl out at the Catholic school, which was neither confirmed nor denied to be the virus. Could have just been some lesbians having a good time. So I guess
But-
that's cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that the kind of only sapphic depiction we got in the book at all was like because of the virus, I was like, well, girl, okay, like, sure.
It does kind of pull into question. It's like, are they actually gay people, or are they just so horny from the virus? This is the best I can get right now. Like, where are we pulling from?
Yeah. Well, and also the fact that because I think the Sister Mary thing happens before she sees I could be wrong in that, but I think it happens before she sees the other two girls.
Mhm.
And for that to kind of be like one of the first moments of like sexuality that we see from the virus in the book, and for it to be like her teacher, I was like, okay, all right, cool, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff here, and it wasn't even stuff that I like. It wasn't even stuff that I like. I mean, obviously, I'm morally opposed to it in real life, but I'm not morally opposed to you writing fiction about an apocalypse that turns people into pedophiles, like work, I guess, if that's what you're trying to write about. That, I think it can be done well. I just think this was done weirdly, and I think that if you're going to write about things that are as, like, controversial and shocking as this, you have to have something to say. So it's not just, like, there to be there. And a lot of the, like, more controversial things in this book felt like they were kind of just there to be there.
It's a shock value rather than, like, social commentary. It's like, I'm not going to discuss why this is weird or bad. Yeah. And then it gives people of that mindset the wrong depiction of it, because they go, well, it's normalized in this book. And you go, well, hun, you're missing the point.
Yeah. I don't know. The dog was cool. The dog was alright.
I guess.
I don't know. It was a dog. Like, I always think it's kind of funny, and I don't hate it, but, like, I do think it's kind of funny when it's like, this dog is evil and will kill anybody, except he really likes our main character for no discernible reason. We just wanted them to have a dog that kicks ass, and it's like, okay.
But if you want that trope, you can also get it in any romantasy book on the show. Like, why are we giving the dog the trope of a boy man in romantasy books? He'll kill anyone but you.
That's actually really true. Damn.
Can we talk about how the dog was more interesting than the guy that she was with at the end? Sorry, I didn't mean to throw shade, but, like, I'm here for the dog. What do we know about old Benjamin? Like, he had a cool mom.
Yeah, he worked at the library, I guess. Or maybe he was just at the library. No, he checked her out. He was at the library.
Yeah, no,
that's cool.
Yeah, he's, like, into books.
The bars are in hell.
I like the library scene in here where she, like, her thing is, like, she goes and touches the shelves and then, like, picks one based off that, like, blindly. The like, library nerd, I felt that in my heart. But her whole thing too, where she, like, checks out how-to books, and that's, like, her thing. And then there's those random pages that are, like, how to keep a chicken alive or whatever. And I was like, why is this here? There's not a chicken in this book.
I think that was kind of to explain why she's so self-sufficient through all of this, which I was like, as a reason for a character to be, like, really successful in an apocalypse, like, there are worse reasons than she's a sheltered Catholic kid who was really only allowed to read the For Dummies series, and so she just knows how to do a lot of random shit. I was like, that's kind of funny. Like, I don't know. It's all right. I don't think it's inspired by any stretch, but it's okay. I
liked when she could, like, hotwire the car or whatever because she read about it. That was cool. Yeah. But some of them, I'm like, the chickens, though, you know?
But
it's like, can it be one
that, like, so real, so honest. You read how to do something, it's not the same as doing it. I can read how to change a tire, I can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
And you probably wouldn't remember all that. I mean, I guess she was, like, looking at the photographic memory, like, how to do that.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I don't know.
I will say I thought it was kind of a smooth-ass move that he gave her a horny-ass book, but also high risk, high reward on that move. That was a little crazy. I did like it, though. I was like, yeah, that seems like a way a 16-year-old boy would flirt with you. If he saw you at the library all the time, I was like, what if you read this horny one, though?
You like to read? Let me give you an idea.
Well, and when he says that he used to, like, drive by the school, he, like, saw what she was reading, but he never said anything to her about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It was kind of cute, that part, but
if we're being really honest, it's kind of giving, like, you guys loved Gideon. Gideon read a book because Maeve was reading a book.
Right.
It felt like trying to make a Gideon 2.0, being like, look, he also reads and also pays attention. And you go, it's not hitting the same. It doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, but he's not an interesting serial killer.
It also, and this is a
Yeah.
self-report, but I read a play one time when I was 19 that was like a romance, and the way that the two characters start talking is that one of them is like, oh, I've like seen you like in the halls at school, and the guy is like, oh yeah, I've seen you, you were reading that book, right? Like I looked up who you were reading, I read some of her stuff. So if I'm pulling that out at 19, I don't know if noted author CJ League should be pulling that out now.
It's
Yeah,
not revolutionary. It is
It's
the bar is in hell. It is the minimum of a book boy friend in a horror book for teens.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's not Colleen Hoover. He's nice, but also like, you know, that bar's down here and this one's up here, but we'd love to be up here, you know.
So excited to see if I like Verity more than this. Guys, if I like Verity more than American Rapture, that's really gonna hit different. I'm gonna be
My
honest.
friend Daphne started reading Verity for her
Mhm.
IRL book club, and she
Yeah.
starts texting me, and she's like, "I hate it," and she loves romance, but she doesn't read a lot of thriller and horror. And so I'm like, "Oh no, I fear I'm going to love it."
Yeah, what if we all love Verity, guys? I've been scared about Mantis this whole time. I think Verity is really the one I should have feared.
She also started the Mantis book, and she says that it is absolutely wild. So,
Good.
Nice.
we're in store for a good 30 pages.
Love it.
I don't know. I will say there was something to the 24-year-old like I don't know. And I don't even know if I think this is a compliment to the book, but a lot of the choices that Sophie made, I saw a lot of people being like she was really annoying and really stupid. And I was reading it being like, "Oh no, yeah, I would have done the same shit when I was 16." Like I did actually feel like she really did like get into like what it was like to be a stupid ass teenager. Because
But when
yeah,
you market to
16-year-old me,
adults,
if my life got saved by a hot 24-year-old cop, I'd be like, so we're getting married. And like, so I was like, I get it, girl, but I don't know if I
yeah.
want to. I don't know if I want to be there. That's the thing. Is like it's a good thing I think when you're writing YA to be able to get into the heads of teenagers. But like I'm 20. I don't want to sit there and be in my own 16-year-old head for 400 pages. I don't know.
Yeah.
How many pages
It's
is
hard.
this also?
It's hard to market an adult book about a teen, and it feels young, but you're like, I don't want to feel that anymore. I've left high school. I don't want to actually. That's why people stop reading YA when they start growing up, because they're like, I don't want to actually be in the mindset of a child anymore.
Yeah.
I say as somebody who loves to read young adult fantasy, so I'm not like.
I love YA, and some of my favorite horror is YA. We've mentioned Andrew Joseph White 100 times at this point. I love him, and he can write whatever he wants, and I will read it. But I kind of want to know that that's what I'm going into. I don't know. Yeah, Ben was boring. Helen is a crazy name to give a teenage character. I can't believe her name was Helen.
In the year of our Lord and Savior, 2024. 2025, oh my god.
Everybody else had such normal... I mean, they were very 90s names. It was clear how old CJ Lead was. To have your protagonist be Sophie and Ben, I was like, got it. But, like, Helen? God, dude.
Helen is kind of a... yeah.
Helen's wild. What was the name of the adult lady?
Cleo?
Who fucked Morrow in the bathroom? That made me laugh out loud, by the way. When she just got almost assaulted and then her dog ripped out someone's throat and she was like, I have to find this adult cop. He'll protect me. And then she walked in and he was raw dogging a full adult. I was like, whoa, what a plot twist. He sleeps with adults? Let's go. Yeah,
it was interesting to be like, vaguely remember his trauma of like his wife left him or died or something.
His sister died. And that's why he's protecting her, is because she reminds him of his high school sister.
Okay, well, I didn't remember that correctly. That's weird. Okay. I thought it was like his wife left and like something happened with her kid or something, and I was like, oh, this guy, he's got so much trauma.
He was dating a lady who had a kid.
That's what it was.
And then they went to her house. That was like the first place they ended up, and then he was like, oh, well, they're not there, so probably she's dead. And then
But I'm not going to tell you about this, and then we're going to talk about it way later, and you're like, yeah, okay. And she's so jealous about this lady's house. Yeah.
Listen, again, the bar is in hell, but I will say I did appreciate the scene where Ben went up to her and was like, why is that adult man looking at you constantly and like always trying to be alone with you? It is kind of whack. And she was like, what are you talking about? But I was like, honestly, Ben, you cooked with that one.
Maybe he's going to marry me once this whole like apocalypse thing is over.
Well, and that's the thing is like the scene where she finally goes to him and she's like, but like you're trying to smash, right? Like you're trying, and he was like, well, you're like really young, like those it's and like wouldn't just give her a straight up answer. I was like, so what are we doing then? So what's been going on then?
Why are we trying to lead on a child?
I don't know. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was kind of glad when he died. Like, I was like, oh, this is a bummer, I guess. But, like, when he died, I was like, well, at least he's not going to sleep with her now. So let's go. Hell yeah.
It really was just being like, I don't want to make a decision for who she'll end up with. So I'm just going to kill off the people I don't want it to be.
Kill off every other
I
option.
have to get
so
my
she has to end
OTP.
up with a boring one. Straight up, everybody else should have died except for the adult lady, and it should have been her and the adult lady going to find her brother. No, like just wipe all our romantic options off the map. That's not what this is about. We are focusing on the wrong things and just had her and this adult lady go off front and trying to find her gay brother.
It is funny because yeah, this is tagged as horror fiction, science fiction, dystopian, thriller, religion, adult. And it's like I feel like romance should be higher up on that list.
Yeah, it's a romance. Which ties into the book club, so I don't mind it necessarily, but again, like I'd love to know what I'm getting into. If you want a YA romance that has like a backdrop of an apocalypse, then like you probably would really, really rock with this. Because I think it accomplishes that pretty successfully. But I was hoping for a horror. And it's not that.
Yeah, it's like a weird genre blend.
Yeah.
I don't know if like science I don't like the whole like, well, it's dystopian, therefore it has to be science fiction. It's like those aren't mutually exclusive things.
No. Also, the virus ending up just being like syphilis, but like super syphilis. I was like, okay. Sure.
It's kind of giving Mean Girls, like, don't have sex or you'll die. Just like,
Yeah.
all right, case closed.
Yeah. We did it. Hi.
A friend?
Come here.
Is that Maisie?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Oh, girl. Oh, she's cute.
What did you think of American Rapture?
She was like, I didn't like it.
that audiobook was so bad.
This kind of reminds me of Vampires of El Norte a little bit, where it was marketed as an adult horror, but then it was mostly a romance, and everybody was like,
yeah,
"What the
historical
fuck?"
romance.
Like this, yeah, and the romance. I liked the romance in there, but it was like the horror
But the
was
romance
so
in the hacienda was better.
Yes, exactly. It's like the same kind of idea where the first book was better and it was totally horror. It was really good, and the second one leans more romance, and again felt younger too, felt more YA than adult. But they market it as adult horror, and it's like that's not really what this is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the publishing industry needs to go back to the drawing board because I think they all kind of suck right now at marketing.
Maybe they're just like, it needs to be one genre or the other. If it's more than one genre, then we don't know what to do with marketing it.
Well, and I also think that, like, if they had said, like, this is CJ Leeds, like, romance debut, I think that the horror girlies probably still would have been like, well, what the hell is she going to get up to? Because the romance was so fun in Mayfly. Because the romance wasn't, like, the focus in Mayfly, but, like, I had a good time with it. So if they had just said straight up, like, yeah, this is, like, a more romance-heavy CJ lead, I still would have been like, okay, like, let's go. Let's see what she's got. But instead they did her dirty, and now we're here. Struggling to come up with something to say about this 376-page book.
Hey, we've been talking for almost 45 minutes about it. I think that's pretty successful.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like if she would have leaned harder with the romance, and there wouldn't have been like so many love interests for no reason, if there would have been like there was in Mayfly, like two really strong people, I think it could have been really cool. You know what I mean? Especially like, what if it was her and a girl not named Helen, some other name, please God, pick one.
Honestly,
it would have been cool.
Also, would have been fine if it was just like her and her brother.
Yeah.
Like, going through this together, like reuniting early on after the parents go crazy, and then reuniting and like trying to navigate it together and be like, what do we do? But also like being able to reconnect their sibling bond after being separated. I feel like that could have been an interesting story.
Well, and they're twins too. So it's like, okay, you have this like twin bond thing, And we only get to see it in her like flashbacks or whatever because he's already gone by the time the book opens. So I'm like, he sounds cool as fuck. I wish I got to meet him more.
Like,
You know what I mean? Like,
would have been interesting to be like, let's focus on this bond. Let's focus on them like deconstructing their Catholic raising.
Right. Well,
I
like
think
maybe
any of the bonds in the book, if we had just focused on them, they would have been better, though, to be honest. Because it's like if we had just buckled down and made it gay and had it be about Helen learning to get out of her pageant bullshit and like the two of them being gay, that would have been better. If we had made Ben like a guy instead of a cardboard cutout of a romance novel character, that would have been better. If we had made the book either veered full into horror and made it like a really abusive, toxic, manipulative relationship with her and this adult cop, or had put like the foot down and been like, she's really into this cop, and he's like, I'm an adult, and we're finding your brother, that would have been cool. If we had stayed with her brother, that would have been cool. If she had met up with this adult woman who's teaching her how to, like, not be religious anymore, that would have been cool. But instead, we did all of those kind of, and now I feel nothing.
Yeah.
Even if it had been her finding the kid. Her trying to raise a kid in the apocalypse, that gets the tears jerking every time.
I think if that was what this was about, I would not read it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And like Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, like if I didn't read that for a book club, I probably would have not touched it. But
that's fair. But I don't know. I think there were so many options.
I wish it would have just been her and the brother and the dog. That would have been cool. Because then she also could have figured out, okay, well, what was his experience? Because he's been in that like facility for a while, and they could have like healed
and then like the protective man role could still be there, but would make a little bit more sense than being like this cop who has trauma.
Well, even I'm shocked that, and we've been talking for 46 minutes and haven't brought this up yet. The fact that the death cult who's burning down like refugee places is made up of people from her own church. And it is such a like D tier plot line.
I completely forgot about that.
Mentioned it.
Yeah. I forgot. Simply.
Yeah, that could have been a cool book.
That would have been really cool.
And actually, it was when Andrew Joseph White wrote it 4 years ago and called it Hell Followed With Us. Please read that book instead.
Welcome to 47 minutes of let us tell you what other books to read instead.
There were a lot of cool concepts that she didn't follow through with in this book. And it was really disappointing to see. Because you can tell from Mayfly when she focuses in, she knows what she's doing. She's a good writer. So I don't understand why she stuck her thumb in 58 pies in this one and just called it a day.
I speculate a little bit if it was, well, Mayfly was such a huge, successful hit that everyone loved it, that the publisher was like, write whatever you want, sweetheart. Like, we don't care, and it barely needs to be edited because you know what you're doing. And I wonder if that was like we have a year turnaround, you've got to get this going, and it just maybe didn't get the love and care it needed.
Which I could see, but it didn't have to be 376 pages, so we could have cut 15 of these plots. It did not have to be this stuffed.
No.
It's like how you can tell exactly when J.K. Rowling... I can't believe I brought her up twice this time. But it's like when you can tell when J.K. Rowling fired her fucking editor. You can tell when she got big enough that she didn't need one anymore. Because all of a sudden the books are 800 pages and a bunch of stupid bullshit that nobody cares about is happening on every single page.
It's the same with Stephen King. It's like, hey, buddy, 1,000 pages is simply just too much.
Listen, it is one of my favorite books, and I've read it more than once. It is 1,100 pages, and we could have knocked it out in 600. We could have easy knocked it out in 600.
Yeah, like it's just people. It's not. It's like it's one thing if like this was just like a Kindle Unlimited release. Like I get it, you get paid for the page count. Like that makes sense to me.
I paid $28 real for this. Like. I paid $28 real. I don't mind that I have it, to be honest. Like I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna get rid of it.
It's a beautiful cover.
It is a stunning cover.
It's so pretty.
But yeah, no, this was not a $28 book. This was a $17 YA horror.
Yeah. I think maybe that's part of the reason why publishing doesn't always market a book YA, because it doesn't cost as much. And so maybe they're like, well, you've written adult before, so we can skirt that line and then we can get more bucks out of you.
Yeah. I will say though, it did kind of make me think because in Mayfly, to be honest, there's really only like one scene that's like gore horror. Because I was kind of shocked by how little gore horror there was in this. I really thought she was gonna go crazy. But thinking about it, I'm like, Mayfly didn't really have that much gore horror either. It
Which is
kind of
funny
just had
because
the
like
mouse
it's
scene, and even
considered
that was an
splatter
illusion.
punk.
Yeah, like, and I think maybe that's what I wanted is like real gore. Like when I hear like apocalypse, I want blood.
Not cum, blood.
No, 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 not slipping in puddles of cum in the bathroom and then having 2 pages of her being like, I don't want to get naked in front of this adult cop. I'm good.
Honestly, I
I
think
give this
that's
a 3.5 at the start of this.
Richie, the longer we go, the lower Richie's rating is getting. I can hear it. I can hear the
You're welcome.
Goodreads stars
the
dropping like
the
flies.
the goodwill I'm carrying for this book is dropping lower and lower. No, I did. It was like I read it in 2 days. Like I was like intrigued. I was into it. But and again, I think it's because I read Mayfly. Like I have seen how much better she can be. So this was so disappointing. Like if I had just read this one first, honestly, if I'd read this one first, I probably would have picked up Mayfly, to be honest. But if I had read this one first, I think I would have liked it a lot more and given it a lot more leeway.
But it's hard to be like, okay, well, Mayfly was her debut though, so like in theory, she should be getting better.
Right.
I mean, maybe we can chalk it up to a sophomore slump, and her 3rd book's going to be amazing again. I'm a little concerned that's not going to happen because of how high the ratings are in this one.
I know, 4.08.
4 point, yeah,
Crazy.
it's pretty high. I don't know. Sorry. I just looked down and saw that animals want to know who I am so bad.
Okay, let's take a minute for Alea's creative genius here for a second. You know what this is? This is a collage of like all of the funny memes and shit that she posted about this book on Instagram. I went to her Instagram and screenshotted them and made them into a collage because I thought they were so fucking funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, not to toot my own horn, but in
The
case
eyeball
you're
thing is disgusting, but that's fine.
Love that Easter comes once a year. How often do you? A classic.
Yeah, I just thought they were really funny.
Yeah,
The tornadoes and the Jesus came with you on his mind.
Guys, we haven't even mentioned that there's a tornado in this book.
Oh yeah, there's a tornado as well.
She gets thrown from the back of a vehicle in a tornado, and nothing happens with that. That just happens, and then they're
that
like,
was just
anyway.
to say this setting is Midwest. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're in Wisconsin. There's a cheese castle in a tornado.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all won't remember that in a couple months.
Bro, I thought there was going to be so much more cheese from like the way that she. Well, I don't know. I was like, listen, what? It's Wisconsin. You're in the apocalypse. I would eat the cheese till I died. I'd be a fucking rat eating that cheese, bro. Like, there's nothing else.
No,
I don't
that's
know.
fair.
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I think there's something about this book with like her having to be taken care of by everybody because they think she's a child that really like brings it down too. You know, like she had just never met the cop guy at the beginning. I was so excited when she got in the car and she was like going on her own. I was like, oh hell yeah, this is gonna be great. She's gonna like go out on her own for the first time and go find her brother and like come into her own, you know? And then as soon as she got in with the cop and like couldn't get away from him, I was like, okay, well, what? Now he's babysitting. I didn't sign up for the babysitter book. That wasn't in the synopsis.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing about like young adult is they have the agency, like they're means like, look, you can do it too. And this one was very much, no, they'll do it for you. They'll take care of you.
Which again, not to bring up another book that did it better, I'm rereading the Hunger Games series right now. There are ways to make the babysitting book interesting. I'm knee-deep in Mockingjay right now, and this girl does not do anything. Every single adult on every single page is making 8,000 decisions for her, and I'm still knee-deep, and I'm so excited to be there. But, I don't know. I don't even feel like I have anything intelligent to say about this. I feel like this is just me being like, it could have been better.
Like I said, I have no words.
I think that's fair. Well, we can bury the hatchet. What else are people reading? What-
Yes, my favorite part of the live shows. Let's talk about anything but the book. And then
Yeah.
in an hour, we'll come back to the book.
Yeah, let's do that. It's time.
Chit chat time. What's going on?
Take the train off the tracks. Let's go.
At least this time it was like, hey, we're announcing it. Whereas usually it's just like, hey, we're going to talk about a book. And somehow we've talked about 5 other reality TV shows. Sorry.
Right, yeah.
Whenever you want to skip the next book club, we're just gonna do a live stream of us watching F-Boy Island season 3.
Yes.
I could host it. We could do a Discord like host. We could.
Please.
Nice. Oh, I read a book that Sam recommended. I read Don't Let the Forest In last month.
Yes. I have that somewhere.
It was so good. That was like the exact type of like dark academia romance that I needed that. I needed her. It was so good. It was so like corny in the best possible way where it was like so dramatic and I was eating it up. I had such a good time with it.
I have
so
the
thank you
arc
for
for
recommending
her release this year, Hazelthorn. I'll let
Yeah.
you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Very excited. But yeah, she absolutely crushes the vibes. The vibes of a book. So good. I cried.
Oh
so,
yeah.
I was like not
There
expecting
were-
that twist.
So many sentences in that book that made me like gasp. Cause I was like, oh my god, it's so romantic.
And that's how you write gay characters.
True and real. You need to write them. They're all dying. They're all having a terrible time. They're all saying insane shit like, if I could spend my time on Earth doing anything, it would be counting the freckles on the bridge of his nose. And I'm there like, I'm so in.
Eating it up.
Absolutely.
So good. Cover alone. Oh, so good. I love when I can actually recommend a book and be like, this one I can promise. This one I'm in good faith. It's good.
No, you were right. It was so good.
And it hits the YA really well, where you're just like, yeah, this feels accurate. You've got a mix of teen drama and like serious happenings.
Mm-hmm. Us just making little digs at how American Rapture did with YA. We're like, yeah, this book is good. You know what's something they did really well? This thing that American Rapture didn't. Interesting.
And that's what I can bring to the table.
I didn't buy Such Lovely Skin, but I thought we were doing a buddy read on that, so I haven't started it yet.
I haven't either. I'm waiting for my audiobook holds to come in, which should be soon.
Yeah, it's on Kindle.
It says 6 weeks. That's not right.
Oh, I just bought it at a bookstore.
Oh, it's available
we
now.
talked about all of those books, and the next day my friend was like, I want to go to a bookstore for my birthday, and we went to a bookstore, and like everything that we had talked about was there, and I was like, well, so I bought too many books. But that's okay.
Sorry for influencing you.
This is what happens when you make a group chat.
True.
Yeah, no kidding.
Bother you.
No kidding.
You were safe for so long.
Oh my god. I've been reading Model Home by River Solomon.
Ooh.
And it's good. It's really good.
Okay.
Spooky house.
Mm-hmm.
Weird faceless woman entity in the house. Killed like all the main character's parents in the house. Main character goes to the house and the mom is just like at the bottom of the pool with bricks tied to her feet, and you're like, ooh. Tea. And it's just gay. Like really, really gay. And it's like, wow, and it's like done well, you know, and it's like adult horror.
That's
about
crazy.
Adults, you know?
Whoa.
So wild. We're insufferable and I love us.
I know it. But yeah, it's good. I need to finish that one too.
How long is it?
It's not that long. I also read an extreme horror recently called The Home by what the hell?
You read The Home?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Bro, I read that whole book in one day and I was on the couch in my pajamas like this. for a whole day. And Peyton was like, "Do you want to go on a walk?" And I was like, "Lose my number, husband of mine. I'm busy." It was, listen, it's one of those books where it was super fucking good and like super fucked up. And then I got to the end and I was like, what is going to happen here? And in the end, I just hated it. I was like, what the fuck was that trash monkey garbage you gave me of it as an ending?
Damn, okay.
I was pissed.
Because I've heard
it like would have been a 5 if the ending wouldn't have been like weird and not good, in my opinion.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just salty because I wanted the ending to be like, I don't know, not everyone dead, and it got like eldritch gods almost.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was like fine, but I don't know. The end was just like fucking weird, and I was like, it's one of those where they tell you all this shit, and then you get to the end, and they're like, it was all a lie, and I was like, fuck you. I'm still upset a little bit, but it was good until then. I'm trying to forget the ending so I can appreciate how good the rest was. But it was nasty, but it was good. So good.
I don't rock with a book that tells you a bunch of stuff and then at the end it's just like, just kidding. It's like, well then how, like, bruh. Yeah. It's one thing to have an unreliable narrator. It's another thing to like just lie. Just straight up lie.
And it's like, you don't have to do, like, it's fiction. We all know this isn't real.
Yeah.
You can continue lying to me. You don't have to admit to it.
You could just keep up the lie, to be honest.
What gets my goat is when the lie is so much more interesting than the truth shit they pull on you at the end. And you're like, well, fuck that. That's stupid. The lie was so good. Can you just keep me in that reality box you made? It was so much better than this other shit out here. What is this? I don't want her.
I do have to say, so this is a book I read a few years ago. I think I read it when I was working with you, Alea, and I might have even read it before you started working in the bookstore. But I watched The Nickel Boys, the movie, today. That's what I was doing before, which crazy decision on my part because that book made me die. So I don't know why I was like, let's turn on the movie before I have to go online and be in public in front of people. Movie's all right. It's okay. I like it's shot in first person POV, which is less gimmicky than it sounds, but still kind of weird.
Certainly a choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it did make me remember how much I like that book, and if y'all haven't read The Nickel Boys yet, Colson Whitehead, is brutal.
I read Zone 1 by him.
Okay.
And it's apocalyptic, which I don't like. So
fair.
It's one of those things where I was like, this was maybe the wrong choice for me to start.
Yeah.
Beautiful writing. Absolutely stunning writing. I was just like, I just don't care about these people in New York during an apocalypse thing.
You should try The Nickel Boys. Do you know what it's about?
No.
Okay, so there is this real school called the Elon Academy, I believe, that was running in Florida for like 110 years or something like that, where basically they were killing the kids. They were torturing them. They like the punishments that they had were like unbelievable. There's a bunch of documentaries about it. It's a very interesting story that I already knew about. But Colson Whitehead decided to write like a fictionalized account of this school, but he set it in like the 60s in the South, like Jim Crow era. And it's a young black boy named Elwood Curtis who gets accused of stealing a car. He didn't do it. And he gets sent to the Nickel Academy and becomes one of the Nickel Boys. And it's just like watching what's going on at the school. But the reason, and this is humongous spoilers, I guess, unless you don't want to hear those. But humongous spoilers for both the book and the movie. The reason the movie had to be in first-person POV is because throughout the book, they are cutting to adult Elwood, like, as the news is breaking and the school is finally being shut down and he's trying to decide if he's going to testify. But at the end, it is revealed that it is one of Elwood's friends who has taken his identity after he was killed at the school.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable. It's so good.
Have you read The Reformatory? That sounds kind of similar.
I haven't.
Okay, so we'll buddy read that because I would like to, but I also think that it's emotionally going to hurt me.
I've been in the same boat. I'm like, I want to read that, but that's
Yeah.
gonna fuck me up so bad.
Yeah,
Let
the
me find
Nickel
my
Boys,
little
I
sticky
started
note.
crying on page 17, and I don't think I stopped until the end. Like, it was unreal. And I think it does a fantastic job of writing a character that you just, like, instantly fall in love with. Like, by page, because it is, like, page 16 and 17 where he gets arrested, and by the time he gets arrested for stealing the car, I was already so upset by just that happening that I was, like, sobbing. Because he's such a likable character. He's so great. And it's such a good book. And there is, similar to the mouse scene, there's a scene in that book that is at a boxing match that lives in my head rent-free 24/7, and I wish it didn't, to be honest. It is so awful.
Okay. I was
It's
like, boxing is, a normal thing that happens. So
Yeah.
holding that next to the mouse scene, I was like, that's a weird pedestal.
I love how
That
you
makes
said the
sense.
mouse scene, and we knew exactly what you meant for Mayfly. You
Oh,
didn't even say what book. You said the mouse scene, and we were
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's
Yeah, no, that
listen, for me, the mouse scene, the pine cone scene from underneath, and the boxing scene in the Nickel Boys take up
I
too
love-
much brain space for me.
I love your catalog.
Love your work.
Oh.
Honestly, that's listen, I'm not going to, but if I had a booktube channel, that would be the type of stupid shit I'd make. It'd be like 10 scenes that ruined my life in books that I've read.
I think that it's only fair that when you take over our channels
Yeah.
once a month or whatever, like this is what I'm expecting from you. This is what I want.
This-
Book recommendations based off scenes that live rent free in my brain. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Primal Fear by William Deal, the opening scene, lives rent free in my head every day of my life. That book is like an out of print, shitty 90s schlock horror with a pretty good movie based on it. But
Unlike the Nickel Boys.
listen. Nickel Boys is like, I think, a really good movie in terms of like technical stuff. But like emotionally, it did not do even a quarter of the damage that book did to me. And maybe it's because I read the book first. Maybe somebody who watched the movie and had never read the book would watch it and be like, but like, I watched it and I was like, okay. But I can reread the Nickel Boys and I will still cry. I can like open to a random page of the Nickel Boys and still cry. Like,
Oh.
it's
Okay.
good.
I will be emotionally prepared for that, I guess.
Yes. Prep up,
Not in the
but do it.
reformatory, but yeah. The reformatory is based off the author's grandpa's experience, I think. So it's fictionalized, but it's based off like the real experience of her family. So I think that one's also going to be very hard hitting.
Whew. I love a book that's based on a real story but is like a fictionalized account, I'm finding, which is kind of a very specific genre, but that's what I'm into.
Like that Clay McLeod Chapman book, the Whispers Down the Lane. That's
the one that's sitting in my Libby that I haven't started yet.
Yeah, that one's based off like a real life story of a boy and his family during the Satanic Panic, but it's a fictionalized account of it.
No, don't just go to horror on Goodreads.
All the horror ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was my recommendation recently was, hey, I read Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, and immediately it was like almost done with it. Was like, all right, I've got a suggestion, everybody. So good.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, it is sitting in my Libby right now. I just need to actually read it. And I got caught up because the new Hunger Games book is coming out in 2 weeks. And I still have not read Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. So I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna reread the entire trilogy. I'm gonna read Ballad of Songbird and Snakes, and then the new book's gonna come out. And I'm gonna read that. I'm reading the Reformatory right now. This does sound really similar, but also like it's gonna mess me up. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Also a beautiful cover.
People love it. It's maybe not so much last year, but 2023 it was on like everyone's favorite books of the year list.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of booktubers have signed off on it.
4.46. That is not
That's
that is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that one. It's gonna hurt. I don't think Such Lovely Skin is gonna hurt. So I think we're safe there.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should buddy read the Reformatory because I want to read it so bad, but I'm scared.
Okay.
No, I think that'll help.
Also, okay, another
I
thing.
put it in my list.
Love it. Have you guys heard of David Sodergren?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys?
Yeah, we've talked about him.
It's on my. You can't fucking see because it's way up there, but like my favorite horror bookshelf. He's right there with the horror.
Nice.
I need to read his other stuff though.
That's why we've talked about him. Yeah, because you
Yeah.
recommended The Heart to us.
I love The Heart.
I
love
need
an old
to-
lady.
I need to get into his stuff this year, I think. A lot of it's on Kindle Unlimited for some reason.
Well, he's like
So,
extreme horror, splatterpunk kind of stuff. So I don't think TradPub would accept him.
I'm trying to find the list of books that we said that we have to read. I'm scrolling
I
past
have
8,000.
a notepad. We've been texting a little while. I have a note on my computer. I have tab 1, which is like my friends' addresses and things like important dates, like our friend date and stuff. And then the second tab is just all of the horror books we talked about reading, and then a couple fluff ones. So,
yeah, we do have Model Home on there.
Yeah, somebody started reading that without us.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm
wow,
sorry.
Crazy.
I own a physical copy, and I was like, I paid
It's
a lot of
time.
money for this. I should read this.
I feel that.
Actually, the real
Sometimes if
reason
the inspiration strikes you, you gotta just go.
well, the real reason I picked it up is because I wanted to read The Home, because I was reading I had like a prompt for a readathon that was like read a book with a spooky house on the cover.
Yeah.
But then I got a fucking hemorrhage in my eyeball and couldn't read ebooks because I couldn't stare at a screen. It's a whole nother thing. Yeah, it was weird.
Oh.
And so I was like, I need to read a physical book because if I stare at a screen, it's going to hurt my bloody eyeball. And so that's why I picked up Model Home. So you ever just have a hemorrhage in your eye?
I
and
love that we're clowning on you. You're like, yeah, well, interesting. When I hemorrhaged out of my eye and my eye was full of blood, I thought that maybe it'd be okay.
Oh my goodness.
Damn, all right, sorry.
Yeah, that was a weird time. But good book, though. Good book.
Hold off.
Sam, what have you been reading?
Me?
You. No, the other Sam.
A lot of thriller and horror, to be honest. It was like Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, One of Us Knows, Wake Up and Open Your Eyes, Anywhere You Run. Like, it's just been a lot of horror lately. Although my Libby does not reflect that whatsoever. Oh no, it does. I just lied to you. I'm a liar. No, I'm reading This Cursed House right now, and it's incest. It's weird.
Ooh.
So that's a time.
Have you read Flowers in the Attic?
No, but I was really young, and that was one of my favorite movies growing up. Me and my mom like bonded over the series, and then there was like the spin-off series, and we like started watching them, but I was like a lot older then, and it made me a lot more uncomfortable, so I stopped watching them. But like so that's my lore.
I love that for you. I really do.
I do see the problem of my ways and upbringing and stuff. Yeah. We can blame my mom for that one.
I've never seen the movie. Books were pretty rough.
Yeah.
I mean they're like good, but they're really
I don't
rough.
think the movie's quite as rough.
That would track.
It's a little bit more tame. You're a little bit more romanticized, if you will, but it's still like tense and scary. But did I fully understand why it was not cool for the siblings to be together when I was that age? Maybe. So
who's to say? I was just rewatching Cruel Intentions the other day and was like, wow, I watched this when I was like 8, huh? And that is also about they're step siblings. But that is also about siblings who were hooking up, so.
Yeah. I don't know. I was problematic growing up. I have a trilogy on my unhaul cart right now about step sibling romance. Keep in mind, I have an older stepbrother who, like, my mom was like, hey, Sam, can you go, like, put more clothes on? Your brother's coming over. And I was like, okay, that's weird, but, like, all right. So, yeah, and it wasn't my fault that I was putting on more clothes. I was just a child. I didn't know anything. And then I learned a lot more things that I can't repeat on the internet. But so yeah, it was wild upbringing. So yeah, I read in high school a gift from my boyfriend, stepbrother romance contemporary books.
He sees you.
He's like, I think Sam would love this.
Like, I think this would work for her, actually. Yeah, wild time.
Did he know what it was about, or he was like, this just looks like a romance?
I have no idea. Probably not. It looks very unsuspecting. It's just like a cute little, like, it looks like a Wattpad cover. Like just a couple.
A little Canva cover. We love that.
Yeah, I kid you not, my bookmark is still in the 3rd book. I just never finished the series. So,
That's the way it goes sometimes.
but hey, I still have the books on my shelves from high school. So,
I was reading a horror series once, and I really enjoyed it. And it was like this guy, he's like a serial killer, he's a rapist, he's a real bad guy, you know. It's a horror book. It's kind of more of a thriller because it's a lot about like the lawyer being like, I'm gonna catch him or whatever. And I read
the
the first
Mindfuck
2 books
series.
and loved them. And then the 3rd book opens with the serial killer dude trying to seduce a 16-year-old. And I don't know if it's because I was 16 at the time or like what it was, but for some reason, despite all the rape and murder that had happened in the previous 2 books, that was the moment where I was like, I'm good, and just never finished the series.
You were like, too much.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. I was like, yeah, no, this is not this is not happening anymore.
That's so fair though. Like once you, I don't know, grow up a little bit and you're just going, these things are weird.
Like,
I don't know
actually,
about
this is
that.
bad, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
But One of Us Knows by Alyssa Cole was not bad. I think I'm in the minority of people who like it though. So take that with a grain of salt.
What's it about?
A girl with dissociative identity disorder is down on her luck, like lost her job or got kicked out of her school or something, and then is like being evicted from her apartment. And one of the people in their system like applied to be a groundskeeper at this like spooky gothic manor. And it's 70% just like being there and learning about her past and like getting to know what like the system and like the drama that's going on inside. And then a murder happens. And then it like goes just full thriller the last 30%.
Cool.
But
I don't mean this as a compliment or an insult, but this is a Lisa Jewell ass cover.
yeah.
I love that I know exactly what you mean. Oh, you're so right. You should have said
Yeah.
it.
Which is so sad because this
That's
author writes a lot of romance primarily, but they wrote When No One Is Watching, which is an incredible book about the I hate this word, gentrification of her neighborhood. And it's just like she does a lot of like quiet, unsettling build up where it's like you're easing into a story and you're like, okay, this is kind of boring, but like I'm also kind of here for it. And then like things happen and you go, oh. But I just really enjoy her writing.
I will say I'm looking at what else she's written right now, and Alea, A Duke by Default, A Princess in Theory, A Prince on Paper. That's the Reluctant Royals series. That sounds right up your alley, bro.
I was gonna say I've definitely like heard of her before. I think I picked up When No One Is Watching, and then like DNF'd it because I couldn't get into it. But it was like so many years ago because it was like you said, like slow at the beginning.
I think she had to really pick up.
I think the main character had like a white boyfriend, and I was like, this guy is cringe or something. I don't know.
For Civil War
was like,
set espionage romance and extraordinary union. Yo. Hello. Let's go.
Yeah, she definitely focuses more on like historical and romance stuff, but every once in a while she'll drop just a bomb thriller and you're like, all right, I'm here for this.
Okay. Yeah, hell yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mostly have fantasy on my Libby right now for like upcoming things to read. But I'm gonna finish this Cursed House, which is fine. It's also historical horror, I suppose, of a girl who is hired to work at a plantation as a tutor and then gets there and is not a tutor, is an assistant. And then also, spoiler, I'm 35% into the book, spoiler, but she finds out that she's actually the daughter of somebody who died, and her mom cursed the entire family and house that they can never leave the property ever. And so now she's walked back onto this property and she's trapped there. And that's all I know so far.
That's fun, though.
But it's a lot of incest. Oh, lots of cousins getting it on. Because they have to keep it within the family.
Ooh, damn, yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, why? So.
Oof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll read a book with incest. Like, I'm not seeking them out, but if I stumble upon one, it's not going to prevent me from reading a book. And I've been thinking a lot about, is there like a thing in books that will like just full tilt. This is like hard stop. I will not read something with this in it. I don't know if I have one. Alea's nodding. Do you have one?
I think so. Peyton was asking me this the other day. I don't know how we got into this. My husband was like, yeah, so
Peyton are mind melding.
it's crazy. He's like, yeah, with books and stuff, do you have stuff where you're like that you like hate to read? And I was like, yeah, I guess I do. One thing I hate, and this is usually in like monster romance or something, is if the guy accidentally gets her pregnant and she has to take a magical Plan B pill. I hate that. And it's usually some immortal guy who should have learned how to pull out by now. And now we have to resort to our magical Plan B. That pisses me off so bad. I'll be mad the whole week.
Okay, well then
I hate that. It's usually like towards the end and I just DNF it. I'm like, fuck you, I don't care anymore.
You do get the stakes are high for you when a pregnancy comes into a book. You have strong feelings. Like even when there's not magical Plan B involved. Because I remember when we read All Chained Up, you were like pressed about the fact that they kept hooking up after they thought she was pregnant.
It's just like because it's the guy never handles it well, and he's always like either an asshole or like wants her to take a magic Plan B, or like was like, I didn't even consider using birth control. I'm like, you're a grown ass man. I just have low tolerance.
I hate unplanned pregnancy in romance. It's bad. It's just no. Don't need it. Don't want it. I don't do pregnancy in books, period. Like, it's just not for me. But I'll read, like, keep in mind, I read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, so, like, I can do it, but I only want it in horror. I want it to unsettle me. I want it to make me, like, go, ooh, yeah, I don't like that. I don't want it in a romance, though.
That's fair.
I don't really like incest or pedophilia in my books, but if there's, like, right? If it's horror and there's commentary on it, that's fine. But if it's just like in there to be in there, it's weird. But like, hey, I read Shrek Smut and there's incest in that, and so like, it happens.
Hold the phone.
I think we talked about this.
No, we talked about Donkey sexually assaulting Fiona. We did not talk about the fact that there's incest there too. What are you?
Oh yeah, Lord Farquaad and his sister at the end, very end. Sorry, spoilers. That's like, so Fiona is engaged to Lord Farquaad, which I don't remember his actual name in the book, but they're like engaged to each other, but they don't actually like each other. And he's like a corporate guy. And then, you know, she goes on her bridal shower and she meets Shrek. And that's when she falls in love with Shrek, who's Beck. And then at the very end, her and Beck like break up and she goes back to the city. She goes to her apartment. She's kind of like trying to break off the engagement, and she's best friend with Lord Farquaad's sister. And so she's like, I'm going to go visit my friend. I haven't seen her in a while. And then she walks in on them getting it on. And they were like, oh yeah, this is why you were going to marry him. Cause like, this is what's going to be happening behind the scenes. You two would never actually like get it on. It was going to be us. And like, you were just like the face of the relationship. But yeah.
And her friend was never like, hey, can you cover for me? Because I like to bone my own brother. She
no,
just left that whole part out.
Never came up.
Never came up. Interesting.
What a downgrade to name him Beck. Well, yeah, I know that's not what I should be focusing on, but what? Just call him Shrek. This is crazy.
Richie's getting caught up on these names.
I hate it here.
Helen and Beck? Who?
Every day I wake up and Sam gives me some terrible new information about the fucking Shrek smut.
I love having friends that support my
Crimson Peak Lord Farquaad. Come on.
Yeah, it was wild. And that's why a lot of people don't like the book. Not because of everything else that happens in it, but like because the incest at the end, they're like, don't like the Shrek book.
Fair. Oh my. Well, that's
if
a lot.
I got...
Ooh.
Oh, aren't you guys so happy you're friends with me?
Yes. If you like pregnancy horror, once again, I am recommending Chouette because I do nothing else.
That is on my list.
It's a very fun one where because she's pregnant and she's like convinced it's an owl. Because she's like, no, I had this dream.
Feels.
And like this owl like fucked me. Like it's an owl baby for sure. And so it's kind of falls into this like kind of falls into the like, oh, the woman isn't believed and everybody just thinks she's crazy even though like it's her body trope. But it's really interesting and I think it's really well done.
You said an owl came to her dream and I went, I've seen Adventure Time many times. And yeah.
Like as you do.
I'm very familiar with the night owl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it was consensual, to be clear. The owl came down, and she was like, "Let's fuck," and then she was pregnant with the owl baby. So
hey, anything can happen in a dream.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, as long as she didn't have to take a magic plan B, that's fine with me.
Nope. Hey, follows that pregnancy through. Not a plan B in sight. All plan A, baby.
Yeah, I'm cool with the owl baby being plan A, but if he's like over here brewing a potion about it,
no. First of
time.
all, it is a woman owl who gets her pregnant. Let's be very clear on that. It is gay.
Is that how owls work?
Yeah. You know. Yeah, when giant owl women visit you in your dreams and knock you up, you know. I feel like it'd be very clear.
It was more like some animals the women do. No, but owl. Oh, no, come on.
Oh Lord.
I don't think I have any hard stops. That was the
back to the topic.
I think I'm good.
You're good with whatever, everything?
I kind of don't care. I mean, listen, there are like things where I'll read a book and I'll be like, oh, wish I hadn't like read that part. But like I can't think of like a thing where I'm like, oh, if I found out that happened, like it would deter me from reading a book.
Yeah,
movies, I have a ton. I have a ton of hard stops in movies. But books, I'm like, yeah, that's words on a page, bro. I can just shut my eyes. I just shut the book. It's not that big a deal. So I don't really care.
Have like tropes or like things that happen in books that make me go hard no. But I have like The Bluest Eye, which is my hard no book. Like if I had known what was in it, I wouldn't have picked it up to begin with. And I'm glad that like I became aware of what happened so I could DNF it beforehand. Because like there are some things that you're just like,
yeah.
I can't sit through that.
Yeah.
So that's my one.
I think one of the few things that is kind of like a hard out for me is if I'm reading a romance and I don't like one of them. Which I know is not as serious as like a pedophilia hard out, but like if I'm reading a romance and I realize like no, I actually like dislike this character, like I will fully DNF it because I'm like I don't want you to find love with it. Either it's I don't want you to find love with this nice person who's the other main character who I do like, or it's like you both are terrible and I don't really care what's going on with either of you. Like, but if I don't like one of the main characters in a romance, I tap out pretty quick on that.
That seems fair. I remember Carrie Can read a romance where she was like, this guy is so insufferable, and it's a romance book, and he was just terrible and so mean to the main character that Carrie finished the book, hated it, and apparently a second book sequel got announced, and it's going to be with a different guy because I guess people hated the main guy so much that they're like, all right, Colleen Hoover redemption arc, like let's get another guy up in here.
Damn.
Yeah,
I kind of love that.
Wild.
Hard out if and I think this is why I've avoided Colleen Hoover so much. I actually do have a hard out if the guy in a book is like abusive, but like the book doesn't seem to realize it. That's actually a really hard out for me. Just because I'm like, I'm not going to say, and like, even if the book is like trying to make the character like come to the conclusion eventually, I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and watch you go on the journey of realizing that being hit is bad. Like, I personally can't do that. Like,
yeah, especially because like we all know what's going on, and so for you, the author, to try and make me feel any different about that situation, it's like simply you can't do it.
Yeah, no, I will not be convinced. So I'm not going to spend my time on that guy.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I've dropped romances more than any other genre though, because I really only started DNFing like a few years ago. Like before that, I would just power through.
That's what I do.
I think those are really the only things that like caused me to stop reading a book. That's not true, because I just DNF Legends and Lattes, and neither of those things happened. I just was like, I can't.
You know what's so funny? I turned my calendar today.
Let's go.
I was like, all right. Yeah, you're not really missing out on that one much.
Yeah.
You want Alea? Have you read Legends and Lattes?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I won't spoil it then, but nothing
I'm
crazy
just gonna be
happened.
honest with you, Liam, and this isn't really a spoiler, but I just got like 250 pages in, and I was like, nothing's really happened.
Nothing happens, which is
And
why
like, I think
thing
that's
about
the
cozy.
point. Like, it's supposed
Yeah.
to be just
Mhm.
kind of like cozy and about like friendship and community and stuff. But like, again, I think I just had a very different idea of what the book was going to be.
Right.
And so when I got to page 250, and I was like, oh, so it's just like this. Okay, cool. So I just DNF'd it, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
bad. Like, it was fun. I liked the 250 pages that I read. I just have other shit to read. So
You know, I liked it for Thimble because he
Mhm.
bakes the sweets, and I like that.
it was great.
And then I liked it because there was a fire that happened, and I was like, this is what I'm here for. And then after that, I was like, I don't care anymore.
I gotta be honest. I
Bookshops
didn't
and
even
Bone
get to the
Dust,
fire.
not worth it. I think
Really?
Bookshops and Bone Dust was so not worth the read.
Isn't it like a prequel?
Yeah, it's like on mercenary work. Viv or whatever their name is
Mhm.
got injured and stayed in like a small town while their friends went off and finished the quest, and
Yeah.
she was just like, I guess I'll help this bookstore owner with this necromancy guy who's like
Oh, cool. Okay.
being the worst. And I was like, that's fine, but like
All right.
it's more boring. It's way slower.
I also think part of the problem, and like part of the reason why I was like, I don't think I'm gonna pick up Bookshops and Bone Dust either, is like I work at a coffee shop currently. And I think there's something that hits a little bit different about like when you have a job that people think is really cutesy and you have to listen to like extremely romanticized descriptions of your own job.
Yeah, that's weird.
I feel like a lot of people would really like kind of like the, oh, it's so cozy and they're just making lattes and making friends with the customers. And it's like most of my job is like restocking cups and like wiping up spills. It's not
And
really that
fighting
cute.
with somebody because you spell their name wrong.
Yeah, yeah. So like
Or being hit on
so
when you don't
that
want it.
kind of like that wasn't really hitting for me, like the cute aspect of that. And then when I found out the sequel was in a bookstore, I was like, well, I've also done that job. So I think
Right.
it's going to be the exact same problem. Because that job could be cute.
Yeah.
Most of the time it was not.
Yeah. The one book that I've read where someone's a bookkeeper, it's a horror book. And it's one of my favorite horror books. It's so mindfuckery. But I was like, yeah, this is great. You're going to give me a gothic haunted house? And she does bookkeeping? Fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's like not
Oh
a
yeah,
big
I
part
think
of
there
it.
are plenty of genres that could have my job, and there are jobs that I've done where I'm like, nice, but like a cozy one that like puts a lot of focus on labor. I don't want it to be my job. I don't need my like cozy escapism to be my job.
Well, it's also like, it's not for you. It's for the reader who has a terrible job and wants to escape to a coffee shop because, God forbid, they get out of their house to go to an actual coffee shop to read. That was targeted at me, just so we're all clear. Like, I'm the reader. But, like, that's what it's for. It's to be like,
for sure.
I want to romanticize something I'm never going to do.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's
so
cozy.
again, I think like I get why people like it, and I totally think that like I think it is a book I would like recommend to people, but it was not in my wheelhouse. So
No, I get that. I never really thought about that. Like books are starting to romanticize jobs that you've done and how you might run into that and be like, ew, that gives me the ick kind of because you're trying to make it all cute. I haven't even considered that.
Yeah. Sorry that I've ruined any bookstore job in a book for you from now on. Because now you're gonna read it and all you're gonna be thinking is like, do you do any work? So you're like the coworker that everybody hates because you just sit there.
You're gonna be like, oh, so you never had a creepy weird customer call you on the phone. Good. Well, happy for you.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
All she does all day is recommend books to customers who definitely all have the same book interests as her, and she's never once had to scramble and fight for her life to come up with a sci-fi title when she doesn't read sci-fi. That's how bookstores work, right?
Yeah. I think a big part of like romanticizing jobs is people, I mean, cozy is just popular, but like if you're gonna write a book that has a job, I want it to be something unique. I want it to be something that you're going to teach me how these jobs work that aren't common, because that's what's interesting to me. Like if you're going to give me a day by day of a job, make it interesting. Not, oh, I made coffee today and then Thimble made cinnamon rolls, and you're like,
Okay.
I could also do that at home. Thank you. Like that's just morning.
Yeah, I think it's really funny when books have like very specialized careers. And that's one thing I've never read her. But I love that Allie Hazelwood was like, no, they're gonna be scientists and we're gonna talk about it. Like it's like a
The
part
last
of
book,
this.
they were divers and swimmers.
Was that her
Deep
new
End-
one, Sam?
Deep End, yeah.
Did you like it?
I am in the minority of not being like super into it compared to everybody else. I
Right.
liked some of her other stuff more, but she's a diver at Stanford and he's like an Olympic swimmer and he's Swedish and it's all about BDSM. And I think there was a lot of good for it. I just think he was a little too perfect and there wasn't enough conflict in the overall story and plot. And the conflicts we did have, I was like, I know how they're going to be resolved and I don't like it. But I don't think it's bad. I think for a hunky, big, tall, strong swimmer guy with a Swedish accent who likes BDSM, I think he's a nice book boyfriend. I understand why people love him. He's very much the type to be like, I pay attention and I understand your soul just by looking at you. And you're like, I mean, yeah, I do want somebody to give me that attention, but like, give me a flaw. One.
Give me a flaw.
Sam's like, he's a 10, but he has no flaws and perfect teeth, and it's too much.
But the audiobook was good.
Okay.
Because it's solo POV, like single POV, but he says his lines while she narrates. He like interjects the dialogue, so it feels like a real conversation, which I think makes you like him even more.
Cool. Sam, I need to know what you thought of Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, because I don't know if I want to pick it up or not, because I've read Grady Hendrix before twice, and it was fine, but it didn't like blow my socks off. And then it has the pregnancy thing, so I don't know.
Which ones have you read?
I've read, oh my god, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires and My Best Friend's Exorcism.
Okay. What did you think of the Southern's Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires? God, that title's too long.
Yeah, it is. I liked the women in the you know.
Yeah.
That was interesting. I didn't like the sexual assault thing with the vampire guy.
Yeah.
That was crazy. The rat thing was cool. I like the rats coming out of the toilet.
Oh my god, yeah, no. There was some body horror in that one that I was like, oh my god. I would say that from what I've read, it would probably be My Best Friend's Exorcism, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and then I read How to Sell a Haunted House.
Okay.
Which has been my favorite because it's very different. But this book is where I think Grady Hendrix shines, where he's writing about a historical topic that he like interviewed people and like learned about. It's good. It's more character study. It's more historical with some horror and fantastical elements. The horror is primarily the birthing scenes.
Okay.
But being about children, he's very good at making the childbirth scenes actually very like correct and not quite so scary and just a bit more respect because they're children. But there is a older woman who has the most horrific scary witchcraft birth scene that was really effective. So I think like I don't have the historical context to go with the whole story, so I didn't like go into it knowing a lot beforehand. So I think for character study and historical, it's good, but it is a little slow and long.
Okay.
But a lot of people really enjoy it. Like Katie Coulson has given it, I think, 5 stars. Kayla from Books and Lala, I think, gave it 4 stars. But like Jan Agaton, I think, gave it 3 or something. So like there's kind of a mix. It seems like most people don't love it compared to his other stuff. But if you go into it with like, he's kind of telling you historically what happened rather than like get attached to the characters, then it's good.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's the best I can give it. I gave it a 3.
Okay. No, that's helpful. Because I feel like with My Best Friend's Exorcism, that one felt really long to me.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But that, again, like that had a tapeworm scene in it where I was like, that was something.
I think he writes really effective horror scenes.
Yeah, like the creepy scenes, I'm like, oh, fuck me up. But like the in-between stuff, I'm like, I died and went to heaven so long ago, and this book still has another 200 pages. Like, what the fuck's going on?
It
The
was
past
very
2 times I've walked out, I'm so sorry, but the first time I came back, Alea was like, I didn't really like the sexual assault with the vampire, and then the next time I walked back, Alea went, yeah, and the tapeworm scene really, and I was like, oh my, okay. Brady Hendrix, I'm sorry, I didn't know your game.
yeah, he's crazy. It does feel slow at times, but I really enjoyed, like, I was engaged the whole time. It wasn't like an audiobook that I was like tuning out and like trying to get away from. But also, if I put it down and didn't have a deadline date, I don't know how often I would actually pick it back up.
Okay. That's fair.
You little terror.
Also, I have another book.
Lost one of my cats.
You lost Eleanor?
Yeah, I live in a 1-bedroom. I don't really know where she is, so
Fun.
I've got one
Hold up
cat
for
under
her.
my desk there, one cat behind me on this chair. Oh, you might be able to see her. There she is.
baby, hi.
Kitty.
And the other cat never comes in this room. She actually only goes in the living room and kitchen. She doesn't venture down the hall.
Does she just not like it?
I don't know what her problem is. I think she really, because she was the runt of her litter, she was very small for very long, that I think she's very possessive and wants to guard the food at all times. Because my adult cat, like my older cat, will jump up there and Sakura will be like, actually, you can't have this food right now. And I'm like, Sakura, you can't bully the other cats when they need to eat. So I think that's why she hangs out in the living room so much.
Gotcha.
She's
Yeah.
funny.
Our cats are still nuts. Our little one, Nellie, she's so cute, though. She's doing good. Rigby's still... He's almost 1. He's an Aries, and it really shows. It's almost as
That's so crazy.
Sometimes he's really sweet, and sometimes I'm like, this cat is a demon from the 7th circle of hell. Like, what is happening with you, King?
I love that for him.
I love that.
I'm not gonna lie, I think that's incredible.
He's something. He surely is. Yeah. Wild. But I have another book I think we should add to our list because we needed it.
I literally was like, let me open my 2025 anticipated releases to see like what I might be really excited to read with me.
What about Victorian Psycho by
Oh my god.
Virginia? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. It looks really good. I've been hearing good things recently.
Ooh, yeah, yes. Available soon. I'm going to be reading that very soon. Yeah. Hopefully.
It looks good.
It looks so good. I'm so excited. Yeah. No. Yes. So you can get it soon.
Oh, that cover whips.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah.
Okay.
That's one of those like 2025 releases I kind of forgot about.
I've seen a lot of people talking about it recently.
Oh, I remember when Mrs. March came out. That was one I wanted to read but just never got to. Okay. I know who this author is.
Emil Rio's new book is coming out this year, and I'm intrigued.
Is it a book or is it a fucking novella again?
Oh, it's a book. It's
okay. Hot wax.
Yeah, it's all about like Hollywood, I think, which is what worries me the most because I'm not a big like famous stuff type of reader, but I will read anything she writes. So
my problem with Emil Rio is that their first book. Her first book was written for me, like basically, as someone who's like trained in Shakespeare to be like, it's a dark academia murder mystery that's basically the secret history, but it's all Shakespeare instead of Greek mythology. I have never been more sad. So I almost like don't want to read any more of her stuff because I'm like, that first one went so hard. But it was like specifically like all of my interests in one book. So I don't know.
Yeah, have you read Graveyard Shift?
No.
I heard it was mid.
Yeah, me too.
I gave it 4 stars. But
okay.
I think I'm also very much in the minority, which is why I say I'll read anything that Emil Rio writes because it just works for me. Like nothing happens in that book. It is full character study. It is just get to know these characters and the ins and outs of their relationships as you slowly are revealing what's going on. But once like the catalyst of the event happens, the book is done. Like you're just getting like the build up intrigue of the story. And then once the story happens, we don't see it. So it's a very interesting way of writing a novella, but it's very much just character study, just to be like, let's meet some people that are around a college campus. I don't think you have to read it, is the big thing. It's like,
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll give Hot Wax a try probably, but I don't know. I still
you
haven't
can wait until I read
I
it and I'll
still
let you
haven't
know.
read The Secret History.
Same. It's somewhere on this Dark Academia shelf.
It's somewhere over there.
I
I've had
tried.
it for years.
I tried to read it. I was like, it's time. I'm going to be my Secret History. I'm going to be insufferable. I'm going to read it. I'm going to love it. Donna Tartt narrates the audiobook, and I've never wanted to die more listening to a book. So I DNF'd it. I stopped listening. I said, I cannot listen to this woman talk any longer.
Tea. That was some hot tea.
And honestly, it's like, why didn't you just hire a male narrator to do it? Why? I don't like when authors, no offense Travis Baldree, no offense Donna Tartt, or anybody else, if you're not narrating your nonfiction, I don't want you to narrate your book.
No.
Stop it, all of you. Oh my goodness. My cat is being a terror.
Dude, that's a huge mood.
I really wanted to spend all day tomorrow reading, but I just remembered I have D&D, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spend 20 minutes reading and then almost be late for D&D. So
I work a full job, and I went to bed at 8:30 last night.
I love that for you.
And then daylight savings fucked me up, and I got up at like 9.
Ugh. So I woke up this morning with a raging headache and then was just like aggro at my sister for like 3 hours, and then I rolled coins for the rest of my day. Like, this weekend has not been it for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Stop it. She's gonna fight you.
You know, I feel that. I've been trying to figure out where we're gonna move to.
Yeah.
Like an apartment or like the city?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Gotcha. All of the above. We don't know if we're gonna get another apartment where we live now or if we're gonna move to the Midwest. We could do either one. I'm kind of like, I need something in the universe to give me a path, because this is too many options. So I thought we figured it out the other day, and now I don't think that we did. So I don't know what we're doing. She says hi.
Hello.
He says hi.
I heard.
Was that your dog?
That's Severo. The husky in him.
Oh, stop sneezing. Macy has
Very good
allergies, so
boy.
she keeps sneezing right now.
Oof.
Now you've woken up your brother.
Yeah, Sam, how's the zoo at your house, Sam?
Austin went out of town this weekend, so they haven't gotten their W yet.
Gotcha.
But every time they go outside, they start yelling at the neighbor, and I'm like, well, I can't leave you outside then.
Yeah.
It's not nice to yell at him. He's a good person. But they just woke up from naps, so now they're all riled up and ready to go outside. Dogs. But yeah, that's fun. Moving. Not stressful at all.
Yeah, especially when you're like, I don't know where I'm moving to. Yesterday I was like, we need to clean out our closets because we have too much shit. And I'm not moving shit I don't want. Doesn't matter where we're going. So
good.
Good
practice.
Yeah. But you always feel like, oh, I don't really have that much, random crap. And then you go through your stuff and you're like, where did all this shit come from? What is this? Why is this in my house?
Austin's a hoarder, so I just know when he moves out, like, it's gonna be, my house is gonna feel so much bigger because there's just so much stuff will just be gone.
Yeah. So I don't know what we're doing, and I haven't posted a YouTube video in a while because I feel like my brain has been like crazy.
I worked 103 hours the last pay period.
Dude.
To do taxes. Yeah. So YouTube
Real.
has been such a back burner for me where I'm like, I will try and do one video a week right now. And if I don't, leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
Real.
Yeah. Too
But
much.
also, like my YouTube watch later is like 1,400 videos. It's bad.
Dude, mine is like 3,000 videos. I'm not even gonna front. It's really bad.
I know. I'm at the point where it's like, okay, I just need to start deleting things. I can't.
I know. That's bad. I have like a whole bunch of videos I'm in the middle of, and my brain is like, I don't know. Can't finish anything.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of reality TV show. Tonight,
Work.
the Love is Blind reunion show is going to happen.
Mhm.
So that's where I'll be. The season sucked.
Yeah, I heard it was really boring.
It was not only boring, but the men were trash. All of them, I swear to God, conservative Christian boys with no backbones whatsoever. And I was like,
Yikes.
y'all are so boring. Spoilers, one marriage happened.
That's what I heard.
Like,
Which
why are we watching this?
is not enough for me to want to watch a full season.
No. And they all sucked. The women were great, but like one of the marriages didn't happen simply because it was a Christian boy who went to a conservative Christian church and she was very like liberal, who cares about like BLM and stuff, and he's just like, I don't know, never looked into that stuff. So she didn't marry him, and I was like, respect. But most of it came down to politics for people. They were like, yeah, I can't marry you because politics.
Damn.
Yeah. So but I'm excited for the reunion because I'm hoping that some tea comes out, because again, the amount of hit pieces that have happened on these men on YouTube or TikTok, being like, these guys suck. I'm like, I want the drama tonight.
Isn't one of them like a full like predator? Like
Yeah,
against,
Alex.
minors?
Yeah, he had like a drug house or something that he like invited teens to come hang out and party all the time.
Sick, dude. Yeah.
And would like be alone with girls. Yeah. I didn't even finish the video that they were talking about him on, but I was like, all right, I learned enough. He wasn't
honestly the only reason I know as much as I do is because I watched Kenny JD a lot, and she posted a video being like, so I'm not going to finish recapping this season of Love is Blind because A, it sucked, and B, every man is terrible, so I just don't want to. And I was like, ugh, brutal.
Yeah, no, like I watched it because my friends were watching it and we were all talking shit about it. And so like if I wasn't watching it with people to talk bad about the show, I would not have made it through.
But what season are they on of Love is Blind right now? 8?
Yeah, 8.
Oh.
Gosh, dang.
And I don't think their ratio is getting better as time goes on. They honestly, Netflix I think has a lot better success on like their very like, cringy, like Too Hot to Handle, like those types of shows have way better success rates. But the problem is they're pulling from the entire world, whereas Love is Blind is, all right, we're just going to Minneapolis, only people from this one city, and then you have people go, oh, you were in a relationship with this guy right before you came onto the show, and now I'm not going to marry you. Drama. Just so much drama. Okay, I will be right back. My dog is screaming to go outside.
Now I really do want to do like a live of season 3 of F-Boy Island.
I would love to.
I started watching that 3rd season during my bachelorette party, and it was so good, and then I didn't finish it, and that was, again, I don't know, 7 months ago or something.
I would go in completely blind. I haven't touched it yet, so if you want to, I can still hold off.
Dude, that would be really fun.
Yeah. Because, listen, season 1 is okay, but season 2 of F-Boy Island is like my favorite season of reality TV of all time.
It's so good.
So
I think I need to rewatch season 2 because I don't remember anything anymore. But I haven't watched season 3 yet because I was supposed to before the Verity live show with you guys so we can talk about it.
Right.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, Alea, if we don't set up a live to watch it, if we don't like have a date, the date doesn't have to be before Verity, but if we haven't set up a date, I'm probably going to watch it before we do the Verity live show so that we can all talk about it.
We don't even have to do a live for the internet. It could just be us on StreamYard private. Just watching it on Discord or something.
That would be so fun.
We can do it.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm down. What are we doing next month for? I can't remember the name of this book for the life of me.
Such Lovely Skin.
Thank you. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Do we want to like do sprints next month
Yeah, I'm done.
or this month? I can't keep a month straight.
I will say my mom is coming to town next week, so next week I would not be available, but if you wanted to do the week after that, I could figure it out.
Cool.
I know how calendars work, so not this week and not next week, so the week of the 23rd.
Yeah.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, my mom's in town from like maybe I shouldn't just spout this on the internet, but like I think it's like the 15th through the 19th or something like that, so I should be good to go by the next weekend.
Yeah, that works for me. I ain't got much going on besides working.
I'll hit up my D&D group and be like, figure out your shit. When are we actually meeting? Because we've been switching off between Saturdays and Sundays lately, and so I never know when anything is going to be. I switched it to Sunday this week because I thought we were doing Saturday, but then we couldn't do Saturday, so now we're doing Monday, and I'm like, I'm done, guys. we just gotta pick a day. I'm so tired of this.
Okay, cool.
I
will
after tax season, my friends are like, all right, Sam, something you can look forward to is we're going to start not quite D&D, but we're going to start an RPG campaign, steampunk, and if you die, you become a vampire. And that's all I know. But he's world building right now, and he's going to start like dropping little hints. We do like monthly game nights with his friends, and so he's going to like world build, and he's working on it for after tax season we can start. But he's like, all right, here's little snippets of what's going on, and then we're going to slowly dive into character creation. Just like little things to keep me going through tax season. Angels.
First of all, I don't know if I've told you that one of the PCs in the D&D campaign I'm in right now is a vampire.
Yes.
Because she loves Twilight, and she was like, I want to be a vampire, and her husband's the DM, so he was like, all right, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So she's a vampire, and it's extremely fun. Secondly, I don't know if I told you that I'm DMing the next campaign, and I've never DM'd a campaign before, so I'm terrified, but
so excited.
It's going to be an island, and every like city on the island is like a different subgenre of horror.
Cool.
So I'm very excited.
Oh my god. Have you watched Magic and Misfits season 2 on
I have not yet.
Dropout?
I've watched season 1.
It's kind of got a fun one of the episodes. So in season 2 they go to like different islands and different magics happen there. But one of them, they go to like Grey's Anatomy type hospital where it's like TV drama, and it's so ridiculous. It's fully for them to just have fun. One of my favorite episodes.
Okay.
So great. But that reminded me of it. It's giving me that energy.
I decided I wanted to do it for a couple reasons. Number one, because I was rewatching Never After, and I was like, God, this just hits. I love Never After so much. But also because, like, our DM right now, he's an angel, and he knows so much about fantasy. And I, like, just don't. Like, I don't have, like, the classic tropes that are sort of, like, that familiar to me in the way that he does. So I was trying to think of something that I felt like I knew as well as he knows fantasy, and I was like, horror is definitely the thing. So it's they get sent off to an island to find the emperor's daughter, and once they get to the island, it's basically where all the criminals, it's Australia, it's where all the criminals have been exiled, and they've all made their own
my brain went Disney Channel DCOM Descendants. Like, all the villains live on the island.
Yeah, so this is the Descendants season. But yeah, every city is like a different type of horror, and it has been so fun to be like the amusement park horror where all of the villains are clowns. Like, I'm so excited. It's gonna be very ridiculous. I think it's gonna be very fun.
There's a D&D podcast. It got canceled forever ago. It was a bunch of college kids in comedy school, but there's the Thunder Gnome, like Gnome, and it's basically a haunted amusement park, and it is one of my favorite things to exist in media. Having like haunted rides and this scary little clown guy and all the fun magic and stuff, but also having like the D&D aspects of, well, you can win prizes and they have fun like D&D stats to them, and I'm so that's exciting. If your group of friends ever want to start a D&D podcast, I will be sat every time.
The way I've asked them before, because I have the problem where I am telling like 7 or 8 different people about this campaign, and I was like begging them. I was like, guys, every single week I have to call everybody I know and talk to them for like an hour about like, can we please just record it? And they've all said no. So hey, get in the comments, bully my D&D group, tell them there's
seriously. Loser behavior.
Honestly,
I'm sure
no, I get it.
But like, why can't everyone want to be internet famous for me?
I know. I'm like, you have a marketing job and are trying to move ahead in the world and don't want your face plastered all over the internet doing D&D? Okay.
That's cool. Critical Role just ended their campaign 3. Now's the prime time for people to pop up and be like, 100%. Let me give you content.
We just had D20 at Madison Square Garden. There has never been a riper time.
Yeah.
For us
They're
to
going
pop
to
off.
Seattle sometime this year, next year, something. And I didn't buy tickets because don't think anyone would go with me, but I'm just like, it's not worth driving to Washington alone for. But at the same time, someday.
If they well, I saw the Adventure Zone live when I was like 21. I think that was like my 21st birthday. I went and saw the Adventure Zone live, and it was so fun.
Oh, I can imagine. I'm slowly getting Austin in to drop out, but I started him on Never Stop Blowing Up because it's very action and just like camp. And now I'm like, I don't know where to go from here. I don't know what to start him on next. That's gonna like, because it's such a different season from everything else. And so I'm like, how do I influence a guy who doesn't know fantasy very well into?
I haven't seen Fantasy High yet. I started on Never After and then did Court of Fey and Flowers.
Fair. That one's fun.
Oh yeah, I think you'd like Court of Fey and Flowers. I also think you'd like Never After. Court of Fey and Flowers is their like Regency like romance season.
It's all just about
Never After is fairy tale horror season.
Well, that sounds like something I'd like.
Extremely good. Oh, maybe try Starstruck Odyssey for Austin.
That's what I was thinking, but the cast, every time they do any like promo thing, they're like, we really want to do a season 2. And so I feel like if they're going to do a season 2, it's going to be this year or next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to want him to watch it closer because he's got a shit memory. So I'm like, it'll be easy to get him to watch that one as season 2 is going to come out.
Maybe do one of the short boys then, like I don't remember the name of it, but the one they did with the McElroys where they're all like toys. Or like
Tiny
like Dungeons and Drag Queens or something.
Heist. See,
Tiny Heist.
Not to like insult my significant other on the internet, but we are also kind of like not really dating, so it's like a weird thing. He is conservative Christian, and
so maybe not Dungeons and Drag Queens.
Yeah, I don't think that like I just don't need that in my household, you know. Like I'll just watch that on my own.
That's fair. It is very good.
But yeah, I'm like I can get him into Fantasy High because that's just like classic fantasy.
Yeah.
And it's like the original cast, and so I feel like that's a good starting point. But I also feel like it's like fantasy. So it'll be interesting. But I'm the girlfriend and I get depressed, and so whatever I want goes.
Go off. You're good. Yes.
So
Alea for the horror season that they did. So their characters are Sleeping Beauty, Mother Goose, Pinocchio, Puss in Boots, Little Red Riding Hood, and the Frog Prince. It's incredible.
It's so good. I also will recommend A Crown of Candy for you, Richie, because that one is their
because you know I love crying.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is
the only thing I've heard about A Crown of Candy is Lou Wilson saying like, yeah, I had quit smoking, and when we did Crown of Candy, I started smoking again.
Yeah, no, it's intense because they decided, it's this really deadly, most serious game we're gonna play. Let's be a family, and it's like, well, I don't know why we thought that would be good. I've never seen so many PCs cry whilst filming. So yeah, it's really good. It's so good. The world building is phenomenal. The like Brennan Lee Mulligan message of the whole thing, so good. Unsleeping City was also very good, but very different tone.
In my own D&D campaign, I stupidly. See, I didn't recognize my DM's game. I'd never played with him before. So I was like, I'm going to make a really crazy, like, intense backstory for myself. And then that'll just kind of like, be like background noise to whatever we're actually doing. Because I've never really had a DM be like, I'm going to like dig in on your backstory. Humongous mistake. Because I gave myself a son who is just in peril every second of every day. I cry all the time. And then he had me adopt another kid and watch that kid, like, I had to watch as that kid got an axe buried in his chest, and I was crying so hard that he was like, maybe we take a dinner break. Like, it was
Yeah. That's why, like, anybody ever that's like, I want an animal companion in my D&D campaign, I go,
no, you don't. No, you
no,
don't.
your
No, you
your
don't.
DM is going to destroy you. It's not,
100%.
it's, I like that in, like, World of Warcraft, but
Yeah.
also nothing dies in World of Warcraft. Everything becomes a ghost and then comes back to life. Like, it's safe. It's not.
Yeah. No, meanwhile, I'm sitting at home. Last night, I was sitting at home. I was like writing stuff for my own campaign. I thought about my fictional son and started to cry. Like, I was like, all right, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just in my off time now, I'm tearing up over it.
Allie Beardsley being Mother Goose to Jack, who was like Jack in 5,000 Things, was so good.
Oh, yeah, that's so Mother
Storytelling?
Goose is a gay man named Timothy Goose, but everyone calls him Mother. And his son is Jack. But Jack is in like every fairy tale, so it's like Jack Be Nimble, Jack and the Beanstalk, like they play around with like all of that,
Because it's like an
which is
alternate
delightful.
universe
but
where it's like, well,
also-
what is storytelling stories like intertwined with each other?
Yeah.
Cool.
Incredible.
Pinocchio's a warlock, and his patron is the stepmother from Cinderella. It's so sick.
Pinocchio is the best character. If Lou Wilson didn't do Pinocchio, I don't think that season would be nearly as good.
Nope.
Yeah. A grown Pinocchio doll boy, who's also like basically a grown man. Like the tobacco and chewing gum will live. That's my kind of comedy. Like that's all I need in life. And I'm so sorry, Leah. I'm saying things that you
snake shoot in the back of his leg where it can all just fall out because he's made of wood. It's incredible.
it's just
At the start of it, he has like a broken off nose because he snapped his own nose off so he can lie again.
Oh my god.
He's everything.
Yeah.
He's everything.
So I think what's gonna happen is, because I love my friends and I can force you guys to hang out with me, so we're gonna watch season 3 of F-Boy Island together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna just start binging seasons of Dropout TV together because Alea needs to understand and Richie needs to get caught up. I've seen everything multiple times, so I think I just need to, mother the situation.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
It. So
I need somebody to take the
happen.
reins on something.
Yeah, I think that we're gonna like start doing watch night parties.
I'm into it. I'm
watching D&D together.
Listen, please, like I am so.
You think I'm joking, and I'm really not. Like
I don't think. I hope you're not joking. I'm so down.
Yeah, I'm down
with watching D&D in any form, but especially Dropout. Like I would give them my left arm if they were like, "Hey, Sam, all you have to do is watch us forever, and you don't have to work a job." I would like, done.
Truly.
I don't need
I tried to get into Critical Role, and the problem is that I got that ADHD, bro, and 4-hour episodes every week really hits different. Like, it really does. When there's, like, 250 episodes a season, and they're all 4 hours long. Like, because I got, like, halfway through Mighty 9, and I loved it. And then I just, like, got busy. Like, I think the only time I was really consistently watching them was, like, early quarantine when I, like, had the time. But now it's like, bro, I got a job. I have to call my parents. I don't have like 4 hours.
So I have been caught up on Dropout TV for a while now, waiting for this new season. I'm very excited. Yeah. But I started watching Critical Role because I have mental illness. So when I hyperfixate on things, I get really into them. And normally that for me is like small D&D channels that like don't quite have the same effect. But I, for whatever reason, was like, it's time. I started watching Critical Role. I'm on episode 28. I watch them only when I'm at work doing taxes because I can put it on 2.5 speed. There's so many people talking all the time. They just got rid of one person. And I'm just like, I'm going to be real with you. I've sat through all of these. I don't know what's going on, but like I'm it's there and it's background noise for my workday. Yeah. But I don't get the hype, but I think it's because I'm on episode 28 of 250.
Honestly, that's kind of
Funding
why
them.
I've never seen Vox Machina. I started with Mighty Nine because I was like, maybe if I start on the second season when they've already kind of figured their shit out and like the audience is already there, I was like, maybe I'll like be able to like get in really quick. And I think that worked. But then yeah, I watched like 58 episodes and then I was like, I have things to do. Like,
Yeah. Like, I want to get to the point where it's like they have the set where everybody's like in the jury stand looking thing, where they have like Abria and they have Brennan. Like, that's what I want from this.
Yeah.
But I don't know when that is and how to find those things. So
Literally,
I'm just like,
I think after Mighty Nine. Because
okay,
that's
cool.
like the Exandria expanded universe with like Calamity and shit. That happened like 2 years ago. So it's like a minute in.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, I don't know how to, like, I want to be up to date on the lore, but I also feel like I could just watch their Amazon special and just like know what happens in Vox and
Vox Machina.
move on. But like, it's like, it's so funny.
You should, since you're like you're a podcast, you're an audiobook girly, you should genuinely listen to the Adventure Zone balance arc and then not listen to a single other thing that they put out.
Oh, okay.
You can if you want. I just like truly I have tried to get into like 6 of their other seasons and I cannot care. But the balance arc is my favorite thing to the point that my first tattoo I ever got is a balance arc tattoo. Shout out to everyone else who's a fan of Magnus Burnsides, because that's what this is, baby. But they're very good, and if you like them, they have a whole graphic novel series that they're putting out.
I saw that as I was Googling it. That was the first thing it was like.
Yeah. Which are very fun. They're very cool.
I have the first volume of the Vox Machina graphic novel for Critical Role. Have I read it? No, but I haven't.
I mean, to be fair, I just said that I like this enough that I have a tattoo of it, and I have the first volume of the Adventure Zone graphic novel, and I also have not read that, so...
Yeah. I think that's fair. No, my issue is I am in love with this person who she does know I exist because I'm a big fan, and so I joined the Discord and Patreon and stuff for a while. But now they've like completely ghosted everything, and I'm just sitting here like, am I gonna get the final and last season of this campaign, or is it just like done forever? And there's just like crickets, and I'm like, my heart is broken. But I've rewatched their first 3 seasons of this campaign way too many fucking times. Like more times than I can admit on the internet without making me sound so mentally ill. So it's nice to find anything else that I'm like, okay, let me try other things. Let me dabble in other spots. But it's just like some people, some DMs just hit so hard that you're like, this is all I need.
Yeah.
But when you find small fries, they don't finish things.
That's the thing. It takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to like do that when you're not.
To coordinate 7 people a week? No.
The fact that my D&D group has played 19 sessions is unbelievable to me. There are 5 grown adults, and we have managed to get together for 8 hours at a time, 19 separate times, and it's almost every week. I think we've missed like 1 week because everybody got sick.
Love that for you.
It's unbelievable.
I hope someday that my friends will be that committed. I think we're going to start this new RPG, and I think we will do a session a month, and I think it's going to be terrible because Austin has the worst memory I've ever seen in a person. And I'm like, he's not going to remember anything that happens, and I'm going to have to sit there and be like, let me explain the whole thing that happened to you. Let me write notes for you, and it's just like, it's not going to be as fun. But I don't think they're going to do it weekly.
We have, not only do we do it weekly, but we also have session recaps on like a shared Google Doc. So if you forget anything, you can like go into the Google Doc and like get the shared recaps, which also I'm in charge of writing them now and I am 2 weeks behind. So I need to just...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm so excited to play with these people because it sounds like a cool premise. But these are also like, it's just the 4 of us. And so I'm hesitant because they all have very different values than I do, and it's fine, but it's like, ooh, RPG is like a vulnerable thing, and if you're not aligned with some of the people, I'm just worried that I'm going to ruin friendships. So just like, I don't know if you people are the people that I would normally play with, but here we are.
I feel that.
So it'll be interesting. If I start having a lot of mental breakdowns after tax season, you'll know what's up.
It is kind of wild to me that I'm the only gay person in my campaign. But it doesn't feel like that.
Oh, it never does. I think it would be very hard to find a D&D campaign of all straight people that have never played gay. Like, it just
Oh yeah,
doesn't make
I'm
sense.
playing a straight person, but like my best friend is playing a lesbian. Which we think is so funny. We really love that for us.
My friend Chloe, Reading with Chloe on YouTube, she needs to find a DM, but she has the idea of getting a bunch of booktube people together to play on like a virtual D&D campaign together, but make it like storybook, like make it the things that we read. And I am waiting for her to find somebody. I'm just like, I will start collecting people to do this. I just need her to find a DM.
Alea, have you ever played D&D?
No.
You should hop on, brother. That is
I think I would
sick.
like it, but
I
I
think
never
we're gonna
known.
love it.
We're gonna make you watch some.
Yeah, I think I'd like it. I just never
it, and then
known, like, never had a group of people who were like, hey, we do this. We know what we're doing, because I don't know what I'm doing. But I love fantasy shit.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. I'll keep reminding Chloe, be like, we need to do this. I'm getting people. This is gonna be good for us.
Yeah.
But I'll have you guys sprint with Chloe so that you guys get to know her too before anything becomes solid, just so everyone's familiar enough. She's great. I met her when I went to Boise.
Go off.
My first booktube IRL meetup. So
Right.
Is she from Boise?
Yeah.
Or did you find her like on the way? You don't have to tell me like where she lives.
She lives outside of Boise, but she works in Boise, I think. Or
heard.
Near,
okay.
But please don't ask me the geography of Idaho. I don't know it,
we'll,
but
we'll get along. We'll get along. That's fine.
Yeah, but she lives there.
Anywhere around Boise, we already got that in common. That's fine.
Yeah, no, she's not from Idaho, but she's like come and moved back. Her and I aligned on a lot of our values and views. So most of us was talking shit about people in Boise when we met up. It was great. So yeah, you'll get along very well. Partner is bisexual and they work together and they have to, like, nobody understands that they're dating. It's hilarious because their coworkers don't even know sometimes. I love to hear the drama of their lives. They're great. But her and Gavin, I'm very excited to introduce. But someday soon, I will coordinate things. But I will bother her, be like, hey, remember that D&D campaign you were talking about? Let's
get the ball rolling.
Let's start doing this.
Alea, I think you would play a very good druid.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me go get my dogs. They're being insane outside. My goodness grief.
I know. I hear people talk about D&D all the time, and it sounds really fun.
It's very fun. I think I'd be good at it, because the thing is it's about, like, thinking on your feet, and you're, like, smart enough that you, like, it's two things, really. It's, like, thinking on your feet, but it's also, like, knowing how to make a good story. Because it's basically just collaboratively writing a story. And, like, you have read enough that I think you'd be fine. Because, like, some people go really hard. Like, if you watch, like, the Critical Role folks, like, they're all voice actors, so they're all doing, like, crazy voices and stuff the whole time. Like, it normally is not that. It normally is just a bunch of people who are, like, there's a guy in my campaign who he does not really care about, like, the acting very much at all, but he loves video games, so he loves, like, stat blocks, and his character is so beefed out because he just really finds it fun to, like, make a character very strong.
Cool.
So, like, it kind of doesn't matter what your interest is, you can still be good at it, but I think you understand story structure enough. I think you'd be really good at it.
I like the idea of, like, creating your character and stuff. That sounds cool.
I can send you my character backstory if you want.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me put it on a new doc, though, because I'm pretty sure that half of my document right now is me and my DM going back and forth and him being like, what's the economic status of your village and stuff. So let me erase all that. Ugh. He also yassified my girl, which... But it's fine. It's fine. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get you started with Dropout so that you can see people playing it. You'll get to know. That's how I really learned the mechanics of everything, the ins and outs, like watching people just put it into practice. You're like, oh, makes sense.
That's actually part of the reason why, because they do play fast and loose with the rules, but I do really like the Adventure Zone balance for that too, because that was the first, like, D&D thing I got into. And the campaign is it's 3 brothers kind of teaching their dad how to play D&D. So there is a lot of talk about like how things work and why you're rolling this dice and why. So like it does kind of help you get into how to actually play the game.
Yeah,
but really, at the end of the day, it's just rolling dice. It's not. It's you pick it up pretty quick. And unless your DM's a complete jackass, if you're like, what do I even roll for this? They will like tell you, like it's your friend. You're not.
Yeah.
People treat it like a test, and it's like, no, it's fine. I've been playing D&D for 5 years now, and I still literally looked at my DM the other day and went, "What's a proficiency bonus?" And he was like, "Dude." We've been playing. It's right there on your sheet. And I was like, "Oh, nice. Okay, thanks."
Thank you. Yeah, it seems very overwhelming, but then it's just like you get a good DM. They'll tell you what to do. They'll walk you through it, and you just have to tell stories and roll some dice and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But just watching Drop Out alone with you guys is like the most exciting thing to happen to me. That's gonna be so fun.
I'm so excited.
I'm just stupidly obsessed. Like, it's just my favorite media. So worth the money. I'm basically a walking free campaign. Just be like, all right, I'm the billboard. It's me.
Out, sponsor Sam, because
truly,
she's already doing it for free.
I would do it all the time.
I was just watching Dropout earlier today, too. I was watching Thousand Airs, which is so fun. So delightful.
Yeah, I'm just obsessed with everything that they do. It's a problem. My mental illness is for sure showing. Being like, let me talk to you about my special interest.
I do also think it's very funny that this time we were like, okay, we're going to talk about other books now. And now it's been like 40 minutes of me and Sam having a D&D hour.
Well, this is what started the group chat too, was us being like, all right, let's talk D&D campaign really quick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So. I said that the train was going off the track. I don't know where it's going. I'm not in charge of this. It goes on its own, you know?
That's where it goes. It's like that scene in the Polar Express where it's just on the ice.
Yeah, I'm not controlling this train. I took it off the track. The track was where we were. Now we're in the desert. I don't know. Whatever.
I'm looking at a book thing. Hazel Thorne by C.G. Drews, author of Don't Let the Forest In.
Yes.
It says, another deeply unsettling yet hauntingly beautiful tale of murder and botanical body horror, perfect for fans of Andrew Joseph White and We Have Always Lived in the Castle. I'm so excited.
That sounds
so
sick.
freaking excited. So I will be reading that hopefully soon. But it doesn't come out until October.
The new Hunger Games book has such a sick cover, and I'm very excited about that.
I've never read Hunger Games.
Ooh, girl.
Sam.
I know.
Let me go off for a second. I think The Hunger Games is maybe one of the best written YA series of all time. But I can only speak about the original trilogy because I haven't read the new one that came out like a few years ago. It is a really, really, really excellent series about like the futility of war. It is incredibly pointed in its social commentary. Sometimes the prose is a little wacky-tabacky, but Suzanne Collins used to write for TV, so if there's one thing she knows how to do, it's pace a fucking thing. Every chapter ends on a cliffhanger. I blasted through 2 of the books in one day after I got off work because it's like you just fly through them. They slap. They're so good. And I love them also because the first one obviously is about the Hunger Games. It's like the world building, like teaching you about everything going on. The second one, there is another Hunger Games, but it takes literally like 270 pages to get there. The rest of it is about like political stuff going on and like her life as she's trying to like navigate being a public figure who is like considered a sign of the rebellion. And then the third book, there is no Hunger Games. It is just a full-on war. And it is like a depiction of like what it is like to have PTSD and to be forced to be a figurehead of a movement that you do believe in, but you don't know how to be like a leader of. They're so fucking good.
I do really want to read them. My embarrassing little Sam story is that my friend on her YouTube channel, Violet Pages, decided she was going to read the whole trilogy. And I didn't watch the video for like 3 months because I was like, spoilers, I don't want to be spoiled. I've seen the movies multiple times. was like, I can't watch her talk about the trilogy. It'll spoil it. So I am just stupid, but I do want to read them. I feel like it's one of those things like I should read it for a video, but it's like also I know the story, so it's not something I'm like I need to read them. But also I know that media literacy is dead, so it's important to talk about what the books are actually about because people are missing the message.
The second, third, and fourth movies are pretty alright adaptations. They're pretty darn good, I would say.
Okay.
The first is like actively bad, I would say.
Okay.
Because the first is so much. Because 4 years ago now, I read the trilogy to my younger brothers, and then we watched all the movies together. And the entire first movie, they were sitting there and they were like, why is this movie all about sponsors? Like, the movie has this weird thing going on where it's really about, like, the money, like, a lot. In a way that is, like, kind of the antithesis of what the book is about. And in a way that's, like, very icky and uncomfortable because it's like, of course, Hollywood would take this movie about children dying and just make it about, like,
Capitalism.
getting sponsorships. Cool. But you could read them. Now might be not a bad time to read them, or at least soon, because the new book's coming out. Be like finally getting around to the fucking Hunger Games, because the new book that's happening is Haymitch's Games.
Yes.
Which they do already describe in Catching Fire. I don't think they do in the movie, but in the book there is like a whole section where they describe his entire games. So I'm very intrigued as to what possibly could be happening in this book because she literally has already written it.
Yeah, I am nervous about like the new stuff coming out because it's like, ooh, is it just the money's run dry on the Hunger Games, and you're just like, ooh, gotta cash in. So I'm a little hesitant on like starting it and then being like, these first 3 books are so good, and then like reading the next ones and being like, why? What's the point? But
I'll shoot you a text when I finish Ballad of Songbird and Snakes and tell you if you should just read the trilogy and then let it die, or if you should read Ballad. Because the problem is most of the people I've seen who like Ballad of Songbird and Snakes are just extremely horny for President Snow, which like I can't think of a huger L take than being horny for young President Snow. Go off, I guess. Actually, don't go off. Stop.
I don't think people really get it because again, media literacy and stuff. But like, isn't it a 2-part movie, or is it just 1 part?
It's just 1 part.
Okay, I thought it was 2 parts, and I was like, this is bad. This is stupid, and this is dumb, and I don't like this.
The Mockingjay is 2 parts.
I do remember that
because that was right in the middle of the Breaking Dawn craze,
the era. But now Wicked's done it, and I think it's back. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but like, please don't say anything bad about Wicked. That's my entire personality right now.
No, I like Wicked. No, I'm just saying the part 1 and part 2 thing. Like, can we just make a limited series? I'm deeply over part 1 and part 2 of movies. If it's that long, you need to just make it a show.
My thing too is like, you've already filmed everything. Like, you can just give us a 5-hour movie. We would sit through it.
Bring back intermissions.
Yeah.
I went one time because they filmed the West End production of Angels in America, which is a 7-hour long play. I paid money to go see this in a movie theater, and they did the first 4 hours. They gave us like a 20-minute like bathroom break in the middle of those 4 hours. Then they had like a 2-hour break so you could go get food, and then I went back and I watched the last 3 hours. Like, I spent an entire day in the movie theater.
I think that's so fair. Like, if you want the theaters to have a comeback and you want to do part 2s, like, don't do it part 2 a year apart.
Do events.
Give us an event. Give us the whole thing. I would sit through it. I wouldn't even need a bathroom break. I would just sit through it. But I have watched it. So I'm in tax season. I've made very clear. I'm suffering a lot. I have watched Wicked at work more times than I can count. Like, I think I've seen it within 1 week 8 times.
Wow.
And I can't even sing along because I'm at the office.
Brutal.
Oh, dang.
So that's mostly been my life.
I fully, with my heart of hearts, I don't even like her, but I'm man enough to say that Ariana Grande was fucking robbed at the Oscars. That performance that she gives in that movie is unbelievable.
It's insane. It's actually like one of the best things that I've seen. And I'm also not like an Ariana Grande fan. But yeah, absolutely incredible. Like, no offense to Cynthia, she's great and all, but like Ariana was the star. Like, that's the heart of the movie. The comedy.
Have you read the book?
No.
You should read the book. The book's good, dude. The book's
Okay,
good, dude.
you're like the one person on the internet right now saying that, because there's so many people that are like, I read the book before the movie came out, so we can talk about it. And they're like, it's just weird and animals and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, I own it, but I was like, I didn't want to get on that craze.
Listen, I'm gonna be 100% honest. And this is my spicy take of the day. People who read the book Wicked to prepare for the movie Wicked because they liked the musical Wicked, like, they weren't gonna like it. I read the book Wicked like before I saw the musical ever, and like it is not the same as the musical at all, because it is significantly more brutal. There's significantly more sex.
It's adult.
It's an adult novel, but it's like, it's not a horror necessarily, but it's like, it is dark fantasy. It is about like the enslavement of an entire race and about like prejudice, and it is like mostly social commentary on that. So yeah, I can understand if you were like, I just love, I love popular, you probably are not going to like the book Wicked, but like, I honestly, it's so good.
I think it's crazy really people that don't separate. It's like, yeah, it's a book. It was a book first, written to like talk about the society, and then a musical came from it because it was good. But obviously, like, it's on Broadway. Like, they can't make things that crazy. It's a Broadway show.
And the movie is darker than the musical. Like, I don't know if a lot of people realize that the movie is actually significantly more like the book than the musical itself is.
Yeah.
Which I love. I was so excited about.
They're adding to it. To make it,
But yeah, I think the book's really good.
Okay.
And then I haven't read any of the sequels, but I did read Gregory Maguire's other book, Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, which is also very good.
Is that like a...
I think it's Cinderella.
Okay, I was like,
might not be.
Yeah, there's so many fairy tales with stepsisters, it's hard to tell, but...
I think it's Cinderella.
Cool. That makes sense.
It's cool. It's good.
Okay. I have it. I've had it since, like, I saw Wicked forever ago and bought the book forever ago. And it's got, like, in the middle of it, like, stuff from the musical. And so I was like...
That's fun.
Yeah, and so I'm like, I'm excited to read it. But then, like, everyone started reading it for the movie coming out. Yeah. And I was just like, none of you have read a book in the last 10 years, and you're going to tell me about a book right now. And so I didn't trust, like, I'm like, yeah, you've got a different perspective than I would. But I was just like, I'm not doing this to myself right now while this is, like, being talked about.
No, that's fair. I do. Hang on. I'm gonna.
Alea, what have you been up to?
Sorry, what have I been up to?
Yeah, you seen Wicked? Oh,
I have not. I have not seen it. I have not read the book. I need to see it.
This is Wicked and Son of a Witch, which is the sequel.
So we're watching Boy Island, Dropout TV. Somewhere in between, we'll watch Wicked Part 1.
When we
Part 2 comes out,
when we do our 14-hour stream.
When we do a week-long marathon where we all take a week off of work and we don't sleep and we just have people bring us food.
Oh my god.
Great. I love that.
But no, Wicked is very good.
It's good.
I think that the movie has done justice.
Yeah, I've seen like the trailers and like clips of Ariana and stuff, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
It's fun.
I need to.
I wouldn't blame you if you didn't wait until closer to the second part coming out, because...
No, when is the second part coming out?
November. Like November or some shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like a full year apart, and Wicked, the one that just came out, is literally only Act 1 of the musical. So it is truly half the story.
Yeah. But I do think the reason the Oscars went the way they did is because usually part 2s are the real show-stopping winners for award ceremonies. Do I think that's correct? No. But especially because it's its own movie. Like, it's got a full arc.
Oh, yeah.
But whatever.
I think Act 2, in the musical anyway, opens with Thank Goodness, which is like one of my favorite songs in the whole show. And it's gonna be an Ariana Grande one. So I'm like, maybe she'll get it this time around, because
well, apparently they're adding like 2 or 3 songs.
What?
You said they're gonna add like 2 or 3 songs to part 2.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's because they want to get that Best Original Song nomination, which they couldn't get for this one. Because sense. It has to be written for the movie, and it was not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about that.
Yep. But it is like the guy who wrote
The stage
the
play?
original musical, at least, because, like, I don't
That's
know, like,
good.
when Taylor Swift wrote a song for Cats, not that Cats is the pinnacle of cinema, but, like, when Taylor Swift wrote a song for Cats, it was pretty clear which fucking song was not written by Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Let's be
And that's
honest,
not a
Cats was
slam
my
against
first
Taylor Swift. That's
Broadway.
just when Andrew Lloyd Webber writes 13 songs and Taylor Swift writes one. You're like, yeah, that one is the one that doesn't sound
Yeah.
like any of the other ones.
Yeah. Cats was my first Broadway musical, so
Heard.
I was in, like, elementary school, so a lot of it went over my head, thank God.
The first time I watched that movie, I was high.
I think that's
And
the
it
only way to do it.
Well, it was before they patched it, so, like, when, like, Taylor Swift's face started, like, glitching off of her body, that was, like, genuinely so upsetting. I really thought I was gonna die in that theater. There's a point in the movie where Judi Dench turns and looks directly at the camera, and I was like, I literally grabbed the hand of, like, the guy who was there with, and I was like, "Kevin, we have to go, we have to go, we have to go." Like, I was freaking out in that theater. So I actually wouldn't recommend it, but
There's a
drunk,
reason
it
I
might
haven't
be
watched the
fun.
movie.
High, bad time, bad time. I was full lipping out. But I've seen it 3
Wild.
times since then, and it's a joy, so.
Oh, yeah. Choice.
Yeah. Alea, you're not really a movie girly from what I remember.
I like movies, but I don't watch them very
I don't watch
often.
them.
I think it's because usually if I'm watching something, I'm watching it with Peyton, and he doesn't like movies very much. So since
Mhm.
I've been with him, I watch like a lot more shows than I
Yeah.
used to. So
You watching a show right now?
no. I feel like genuinely, I feel like I've been in hibernation. I feel like I've been in this
Good for you.
seasonal depression bubble where I'm like trying to get into grad school, and then I just got into grad school and I know we're moving, but I don't know where we're moving, and like my brain can't focus on like creative shit because my brain is focusing on where am I gonna live in 4 months? You know what I mean?
Oh, life is so fun.
Yeah. So, but I have been reading. I've been reading mostly horror is what I've been reading. So,
I love that.
anyway,
I feel like horror is like the balm when your life is going crazy. You're like, what if I read some extremely fucked up stuff happening to other people? That's my escapism more than Legends and Lattes. I'm like, what if someone gets their leg chopped off? That'll actually help.
It could be worse for me, and so
yeah, I'm either reading like weird horror stuff or I'm reading stuff on Kindle Unlimited. Yeah, I was trying to read a whole bunch of like monster romances set during Valentine's Day, and I found some weird shit. I've been reading some weird shit. Which sometimes I look at like what I've read and I'm like, none of these were on my TBR. I was just feeling in a weird mood and I was scrolling through Kindle Unlimited like, what kind of weird shit do you have for me today?
That's where you find the best stuff, honestly.
Wild. I'm gonna read some Leprechaun Smut this month though for St. Patrick's Day. I'm excited about that.
oh, fun. I love that.
Yeah. Gotta read Railed by the Leprechaun, you know? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. No, that sounds right.
Railed by the Leprechaun really hits different.
You know it does, yeah. I'm wondering about the logistics of that. Is she gonna be a tall girl? No? Yes?
Oh my God.
How are we gonna make this
That's
work?
cute.
Yeah, like the swap of like, oh, she's so big and tall, and he's so small and cute.
Yeah. No, I'm into it.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a beard. That's adorable. Does he keep the buckle shoes on? There's plenty of questions to ask.
Where's the pot of gold at? You know, is she a gold digger? What are we doing?
I did just picture the schlong being a rainbow with like gold at the bottom. So I think
the pot of gold is his best.
Wild. That could be so fun.
This is so much speculation. I haven't read a single page of it yet.
Well, I've read Railed by the Krampus, and I know what that peen looks like. So I think
true. Wasn't it a little candy cane?
Yeah, twisted.
Mm-hmm.
There's a full picture of it at the beginning of the book.
Yeah, and then
some fantasy books have like maps at the beginning. Railed by the Krampus is like, we know what you're here for. Let's be real about this.
Up on a throne.
Yeah. Oh my god. I was reading Cupid romances during February. They were all kind of weird. I mean, I guess I should have expected that. I wasn't going to
Were
go
they,
in and be like, "Damn,
little
this is like a
angels?
this is
This
some
is normal.
some highbrow literature I'm reading right now." You know,
What was weird about them?
the guys are so it's like not a monster romance because they're very humanoid, but they can like
Yeah.
fly and they have like these random powers that don't make any goddamn sense. Like they can
Yeah.
teleport and you're just like, okay.
I heard. Yeah, that's fair. I
And
think
they're all
people
like,
underestimate how much you do actually need like an internal logic to your like fantasy. Even if it's something ridiculous like okay, she's going to fuck this Cupid. It's like there do still need to be like rules though.
right. Yeah. Well, and also I feel like I'm kind of getting to the point where even with romance, even if it's like smut, I'm like, give me it doesn't even have to be like a plot. It can be plotless. That's fine. But there has to be some kind of like talk first before the smut begins where I'm like, oh, you have like chemistry or banter or something, you know? And a lot of the ones I've been reading lately are like novellas where it's just like he kidnaps her and they bang and that's it. It's like, and then they're like, we're in love and we want to have babies. Bitch, you don't even know her last name. What are you talking about? You snatched this girl off the street.
Yeah. It's definitely more like for the erotica.
Right.
Yeah.
It's for the erotica, but then at the end they try to make it like a soulmate, we're so in love thing. Like,
I still have the second in the Sleeping Beauty smut series that Anne Rice wrote, and I haven't read it yet. And I kind of want to read it on sprints.
Oh, do it.
I don't know. I think they're really fun, and I think they'd be really good if she wasn't 15. But like, I struggle.
Hey, friends, sorry to interject. I'm sending you a photo of Krampus, so trigger warnings when you see the group text. But that is going to be there for a second.
Dude, yeah. In the Cupid romance I was reading it at a coffee shop, and Peyton was okay. I don't have my phone.
I can't show it. I can't show it.
Which is why I decided to text it to you because you needed to know. I downloaded this book onto my phone just so that I can see
Oh
it
my god. But yeah, I was at this coffee shop reading this Cupid book, and yeah, there was full on like spicy illustrations in it, and my husband's across from me looking at my iPad like, oh, I'm fully in public. And I was like, I didn't know it was going to be in there. I didn't swipe before I downloaded it and left the house.
That picture is in the middle of like chapter 5 or 6. Like you're scrolling for a while to find it.
Oh my god.
It's the color palette really took me out. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't expecting the penis to be the colors that it is. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But wow.
Yeah, somebody got commissioned and paid to make that.
Yeah, they did. It's like good art too. Like it's good. But wow.
I love contributing to conversations.
Sam really blessed us today with that photo.
Yeah.
And then
also now you got a little treat after we get off this.
Right, yeah.
You go look at your phone and immediately be confronted.
You totally won't forget that I've sent you something by the time we get off, and you won't be surprised at all.
I love that.
Honestly, I'm probably gonna forget and like go make dinner, and then I'm gonna unlock my phone and be like, "Oh, I have a message. Oh, it's in the group chat. Oh my god!" And I would be so alarmed.
It is alarming. I think is a good word for it. When you're jump scared by that, I even knew it was coming, and I still was like very taken aback. So yeah. But I love that.
Yeah. I think that's what
I'm not used to my smut books having illustrations. I will say that.
Yeah,
it does change it a little bit.
Yeah.
When you picture it because they've given you the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't read a lot of like monster romance or like fantasy type romance. So like I kind of know what it looks like, so I don't know that I need an illustration when it's like just a guy. Like I'm like I got the picture. But yeah. So I guess I never really considered that. or that I would be sitting at a restaurant with my husband.
Yeah, and to add insult to injury, there was like a full-on naked picture of the guy, like the whole guy with the stuff and everything, and then like the little images above like the chapters were just full-on dicks with like hearts around them, and I was like, all right, okay, so it's just the whole book. There's just little fun little, you know. I was like, oh, good, perfect. It's so funny too because I feel like that's the only one I've ever read with illustrations, and I just happened to read it when I was in public. And I was like, this is interesting.
When I read Railed by the Krampus, I was with my conservative boyfriend's family for Christmas at like an Airbnb. I'm like in the living room just like reading on my phone.
Excellent.
I love the holidays.
That's whoo. That hits different. Man.
I know. I've made that mistake before where I bring physical books to my in-laws' house who are also quite conservative. Yeah. And there was one day where my husband's grandpa like picked up the book that I was reading because it was just like we were like at the lake house and I left it like outside on the table and he just happened to like come over and sit in that chair and just like picked it up and like opened to a random page and skimmed some things and like put it down. But I didn't see because I was in the other room. And then my husband was like, is that like a spicy book? And I was like, no, it's like, it was a short story collection. It was by Ling Ma. What is that one with the oranges?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but there's some weird shit in there too. And like, there's a story in there where a lady is like pregnant and the baby's like arm is like sticking out of her vagina for like 5 months of her pregnancy, and it like talks about it. So I don't know what part he opened to, but my husband said he saw him open it and like make a weird face and then close it and put it down. And he was like, is that like a spicy book? And I was like, no, but there's definitely weird shit in there. So I don't know what he saw.
God. It is wild. Somebody's book. Just read a random page.
Yeah.
What is that? That's weird behavior.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And like, don't touch other people's stuff, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're interested, if you're like, that cover's really cool, read the synopsis on the back.
Yeah.
Be normal.
Yeah, weird behavior. So yeah, so now I just take like my iPad so I can have ebooks and lock it so people can't like look at my shit because I read weird shit in front of people apparently. So fun
that way.
I specifically curate my books when I go home to like visit my family because the chances of my teenage brothers caring what I'm doing is like almost zero, but that almost is enough that I'm like, nah, you're not getting me like that. So it's like all like Stephen King is like the most I'll go to. It's not happening like that.
I know. Shouldn't be a thing, but people get nosy and they're like, so what are you reading?
Flashback to me reading that Larry Kramer book where the title is just the F slur at work. And customers have never cared what I'm reading before in my life. But of course, I start reading that on the clock, and every middle-aged man in history was like, so what are you reading right now? And I was like, it's just a book about it was
every time. Yeah, no, I didn't tell all of my coworkers that like I read a whole lot. But it did kind of come out of the conversation because I was talking to my coworker. And she's very old, very conservative. And she's like, oh, you do YouTube to talk about books? And I go, oh, you didn't need to know this information, though. And then she's like, what kind of stuff do you read? And I go, mostly fantasy and horror. And she's like, oh, cool. And then she starts telling me about the list of things she once read once upon a time and how she read The Hunger Games and all this stuff. And I go, cool, that's great.
Yeah.
And then she... like I come up that I'm like, oh yeah, I listen to audiobooks. Like I read so much because I'm doing it at my job. Like when I'm not paying attention to what you're doing with your job, I'm listening to an audiobook. I'm in a fictional world. And then she starts asking what I'm like currently reading. And I'm like, we don't need to talk about the horror books that I'm reading right now. Like what's in them. That's not incest. I don't know. Second cousins, weird stuff. I don't need to talk about it.
Yeah. I mentioned in a meeting the other day that I read horror because they're like, oh, we know that you like read and you have like a YouTube channel or whatever, but they don't like, look into anything because I don't think anybody cares. But they were like, "Oh yeah, like what do you like to read?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm like read a lot of horror." And they were like shocked that I read horror. And I was like, "All right, okay." I was like, "That's not the weirdest thing I read." I wasn't like, "Hey, and I read monster romance all the time." Like, what? No.
It's just horror. There could
When
be
people
a lot
are
of things.
surprised by you reading horror, it really does make me wonder, like, what kind of person do you think reads horror, bro? Like,
I'm like,
what is the stereotype in your head of someone who's a horror reader?
I don't know. And I'm also like, if you're like super flabbergasted by that, then you probably don't really know much of anything about me, frankly. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Richie's freezing to death, I can tell.
I'm so cold.
I love how you were
It
like,
snowed here 2 days ago.
and you said, let me put on a tank top today?
Well, yeah. I don't know. I was in my house. It was warm at the time. But now I have my electric blanket on, so it's about to be a
Thriving.
lot better.
Yeah. My dog loves to chew the like
Oh.
remote for heated
Fun.
blankets. It's his
Fun.
favorite thing. And so I have to hide my heated blankets or else he'll eat them until the point of like he can't turn them back on.
Fun.
That's wild.
He loves electronics. Like I have a computer
Oh.
mouse. I had to buy a replacement computer mouse because my dog just likes to eat them.
That's so weird.
Just
That
this
is-
thing, I have
Mhm.
one in my living room, and it's now his toy. He just chews on it.
Oh my God.
We have a laser pointer for our cat. Chewed on that. It's
Hmm.
so weird about electronics and plastic.
One of my cats loves to eat the silica gel packets. That's her favorite thing. So we
no.
have to hide those immediately because she'll like dig through the trash for them. Like she loves
Oh.
them.
Crazy. Why do animals want to poison themselves so
I
bad?
don't know.
That's weird.
I
And
had
my
a dog
cat-
who ate an entire bag of Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh
He was
shit.
fine. He was perfectly fine. But I was
Yeah.
like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why did you think that's a good idea? I don't even think dogs can taste sweet. Or is that cats? I don't know.
Weird.
I don't think cats can taste spicy, but I know anytime I put chili oil on anything, my cat's like, time for me to lick this up. And I'm like, I wish it wouldn't be. Hey, gotta be
I don't think you're
honest.
gonna like it.
Yeah. My cat loves to eat foam. Anything that's made
Oh,
out of foam. His new thing is like the armrests of desk chairs that are like not even like squishy foam, but like
no.
the hard plastic foam combo, just full of teeth marks. And he tries to steal my mouse pad all the time because it has like foam in the wrist support part.
Yeah.
Anything that's foam, fair game. Richie, you know, because Richie came over and he like ate Richie's Crocs, dude. It was crazy.
This is a computer desk mouse pad.
Whoa.
This is my cat's favorite thing. I've bought her two so that she leaves mine alone. It's her
Damn.
favorite thing. She'll just curl up on there, scratch the heck out of it.
Yeah, it's so weird. They like stuff. I'm like, why would you eat foam? That's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Like bubble wrap. My cats love to eat bubble wrap. I'm like, can you stop being weird?
Wow.
It's a gnome.
How cute.
Aw.
He's got a little nose right here.
Oh, I love.
And a ghost. Sorry, my sister just came home.
Fun.
I was Joann's because they're closing, so they have crazy sales.
Go off.
Dude,
let's
I just
go.
did that yesterday. I went to Joann's and bought a bunch of like candles and shit.
Because they're going out of business, aren't they?
Yeah,
Yep.
everything's like on sale.
Yep.
Can I just say, everything being on sale, it was still really expensive.
That's what I heard. My friend Mariah went the other day and was like, "Yeah, the sales were not
Not that good.
not sailing, you know?"
No.
No, because
Yeah.
they're hoping that the sale will bring them right back in business.
Yeah, I was like,
Them, I
wait,
guess.
I thought everything was on sale, and now I spent $40 on candles and candle holders and silly towels.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Ugh.
But they're cute though. They're really cute.
You
With
gotta
the
send pictures
lines?
at some point.
There were some crazy lines yesterday. I've never seen so many people in a Joann's. And it was like all the like really obnoxious, crafty girlies who like talk too
Oh,
loud.
yeah.
I was like, oh my
Yarn.
god. They're like, yeah, they're frothing at the mouth over this discount yarn. I was like, this is not my place, but I just like candles, so
Fair.
fuck me up, I guess.
Ugh.
Okay, friends, look at a book cover for me. It's called A Treachery of Swans by A.B. Poranek.
I know exactly which one you mean, and it's stunning.
It's so freaking pretty. And I know that Richie doesn't read a lot of fantasy, so I'll test it out and see how fantastical it is. But oh my god, I'm so excited to buy it.
This
Dude,
is
I really wanna read that.
beautiful.
It's giving Barbie Swan Lake Princess, which was like my
yes,
shit as a
it
kid.
is.
Well, it's a Swan Lake retelling, so
Yeah,
I sure
Swan
hope
Lake.
so.
Love it.
Oh, that's sick.
And I don't think, I mean, have you ever read a Swan Lake retelling before?
No,
I
but I
haven't.
have one.
Sounds cool.
somewhere.
4.4 on Letterboxd, huh? It's also giving the girl
Ooh.
with the oh shit, okay.
Oh shit.
That's so cute.
Does that have dragons in it?
I don't think so. It's a Swan Lake romantasy.
Oh, it's a swan. I thought that the sprayed edge on the side was a dragon. It's a swan. No, that makes sense why you'd hold that
That
up.
tracks.
We have to use some context clues.
Well, Swan book.
Oh, what? Double-sided? That's really cool.
But yeah, this is
Guys,
the only like Swan Lake retelling book I have. Haven't read it though, of course.
It looks cool.
But now I'll have 2 in my collection, and that feels crazy.
I ordered a book a couple days ago and it came in today, so now I have to wait for my mailroom to get it out of Hawk and give it to me. But I ordered a graphic or like a comic strip collection. Please stop. It's Mr. Boop by Alec Robbins, which is about a guy who's married to Betty Boop. And I'm so excited about it. I used to love, because he used to post them on Twitter, but now they're like,
What?
they've hardbound them. And I spent
Cool.
too much money on it. And it came in,
Awesome.
but we'll see when I see it.
Hmm.
I also have a lamp in there that I'd love if I could use. That would be sick.
Also, the cover for Catabasis by R.F. Wong.
Is it out?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it. Oh, I'm so behind. Honestly, I come on here just to get caught up on all the shit that I'm behind on.
Also,
I remember.
Victorian
also-
Psycho is available for me to hold.
Oh, I need to see if I can find that somewhere because I want to read it really bad.
I have a request pending on NetGalley for Catabasis? I don't fucking know.
I know.
But
I don't even.
If they approve me, my life will be so good. My life would change.
That is quite the cover. And this one's totally separate from Babel, right? They're not.
Correct. But it still has that like pureness-y, dark academia.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Very Greek. I'm very excited.
Love that.
Love a beautiful cover. So that's my 2 contributions of covers that I'm obsessed with right now.
Knowing you're right.
I agree with you. Have you guys been looking into the new one from Kimberly Lemming?
The alien one?
Is it
Or is it
Aliens? I don't know.
the-
It has like a dinosaur on the cover.
Yeah, it's that time I got kidnapped by aliens, I think.
Yeah.
And was put in a romance.
Trapped in a rom-com, or it's called like
Yeah.
the longest title I've ever seen in my life.
Truly is.
Uh,
I'm currently in the middle of that time I got drunk and saved a human.
I
So,
got abducted by aliens and now I'm trapped in a rom-com?
that
Yeah,
one. That's the one.
that's the one. Is that
Taylor
one out?
Lions and dinosaurs and sexy aliens. Oh my.
Oh my.
Okay.
2 aliens.
Okay.
1 girl, 2 aliens.
Oh, and a T-Rex too in the back.
Sorry.
Oh my god. That's
But yeah, Books and Lala read it, which is not quite her norm. And she was
Mhm.
like, yeah, I like the other series more. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I'll pick it up, to be honest. Cosmic
Mhm.
Chaos, it's the series is called.
Is
The
it?
cover's fun.
And it's out yet?
Mm-hmm.
I said that so weird. You know, you knew what
I know I have dyslexia. I retain
Hello.
weird words all the time.
Woo. Okay, I kind of wanted to check that one out. I've never read her before, but people say her writing is funny. So
Oh, you got to start with That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon.
yeah,
You gotta
you like
start
that
there.
one? Okay.
And then you got to read That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a love potion at a
Oh,
werewolf.
yeah.
And then
Yeah, I heard that
Mistletoe.
was good.
They're
Have you
cute.
guys read or heard anything about Hungerstone by Kat Dunn?
It's on my shelf,
Is it? Okay.
but I
Mhm.
haven't. I'm so excited.
It sounds really good, except people keep describing it as a feminist retelling of Carmilla, and like
Maybe it's just
Carmi-
what they mean by that is a woman writing Carmilla retelling
Yeah.
instead of a man.
Yeah, maybe.
this
I don't
one.
know. That made me nervous because everything else about it made me super excited. The cover looks sick. The synopsis looks awesome. I love Carmilla. Like, I'm super excited about it. But then when everybody was like, it's feminist Carmilla, I was like, well, Carmilla's kind of feminist Carmilla, so I don't really know what you're doing here with this. But work, I guess.
Yeah, compulsive feminist reworking of Carmilla, a book that
Yeah.
inspired Dracula. I do have it on my shelf though, and I'm really excited. Although also anybody that says this is similar to A Dowry of Blood, I go, it's probably not. You're probably so off base for that, but whatever.
Yeah. Have you guys seen this one? It's called Shy Girl by Mia Ballard.
The way I'm well, wow, I wish that I could see it. I'm on it right now. I literally just clicked on it.
I just saw
Because the
that
cover
today and
looks
was
cool.
like, that looks really pretty.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I've never heard anybody talk about it though.
me either.
I feel like
For
this could be a
fans
good
of
Alea
Night
read.
Bitch and Lisa Tadeo's Animal. 2 books that I thought were all right.
It feels like an Alea book for sure. But
What
it
is
is an interesting cover.
Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang?
Oh my gosh, I'm really excited about that one.
Oh my gosh, wait. God, I wish. See, when you reorganize your bookshelves, you go, I don't fucking know where anything is, but somewhere.
I need to read that one too.
Ha ha ha.
Now I'm just going down the rabbit hole and just looking at the people might also like.
Ooh, fancy cover. Bro, what? Bro, where are you getting all these special editions
Yeah,
from?
what?
This is Illuminacrate's Evernight. It's their quarterly horror subscription. I'll be honest, I haven't really liked their picks, but they're beautiful books.
They are beautiful. Very pretty.
Have y'all looked up the cover for The Divine Flesh by Drew Huff?
I don't think so.
You should.
Oh, the pink one?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay, that looks like something
Yeah.
I would love.
Yeah.
Jennifer's Body. Interesting. That does look fun. Yeah, how have I not heard about this? It just came out.
This looks really. Wait, it's in rural Idaho? What?
Wait, what?
Can a
Okay, well, now
dysfunctional drug mule and an electrician from rural Idaho stop the cosmic abomination before it's too late? Jennifer thinks maybe.
Is the
Idaho set
abomination the
horror.
Antichrist?
Okay.
This
Now
seems
we gotta read
fun,
it.
dude.
Dude, that looks awesome.
Somebody stole our lamp.
Oh, Richie, I think I need you to read Unworthy and tell me if it's good.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's kind of been like raving about it, and I don't know how I don't know if it's good or not. But
Wait,
anything
everyone's
you
been
have to
raving
tell
about
me.
what?
The Unworthy. So I think the same author of Tenders, the author of Tender as the Flesh. A bunch of people are really excited about it, and I'm like, I don't know if I should read it or not, but I need somebody to tell me.
That's a fun cover.
Wait,
Lots of
what's the title
dystopians.
again?
The Unworthy.
Oh my gosh.
Augustina.
Best Treat, yep. Yeah, I've been debating about that one too.
It was an aardvark pick, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna get it. But now I'm like, should I have gotten it? But it feels very on theme, similar to American Rapture.
Yes.
Yeah. I hate it. Sorry, I'm on Goodreads right now, and I hate it when people leave a review that's like a 5-star review, and they're like, "It might change. I haven't read the book yet, but I'm so excited about it." Like, girl.
Yeah.
All of these reviews are in Spanish, and I don't read Spanish.
I've been learning Spanish for like 4 years, and I also probably couldn't.
Oh, yep. I took 4 years of Spanish, and yeah, nope, didn't. Not happening for me. I'm not that.
But my
I'm not
Duolingo
built like
fee for
that.
Spanish is 715 days. So,
Go off.
also, okay, I feel like now we're just recommending a lot of horror books, and I think we need to start cataloging them back into another list because there's going to be a lot. The Lamb by Lucy Rose.
I've seen that
I've
cover.
only seen one person talk about it, and they gave it 5 stars and loved it. So,
Okay.
it's a gothic coming-of-age tale.
Yeah, that one's been on my radar. It looks good.
How a woman swallows their anger, desire, and animal instincts, the ring of relationships between mother and daughter until blood drips from it. I don't know. Sounds like it could be good.
Love a
Mhm.
mother-daughter horror.
Yep. Agreed.
We still have to buddy read Mother Thing at some point.
Oh my god. We have so many things that we need to buddy read.
I know.
I know, just looking at my list, I'm like, all right, we gotta start.
Yeah, we gotta start
Really
actually reading.
Yeah. Yes, we do. Well, I'll schedule sprints and we can at least get the buddy reading started.
Yeah.
'Cause we got stuff to read. We got shit to do.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Also, I mean, we can buddy read and just like post about it on the Discord. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
like, all that serious.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. There's so many books coming out in 2025 that I'm just like, what? Can't even keep track of all these things.
I know. I like to think that I'm up to date, and then like 5 more titles get announced, and I completely miss it. I'm like, well, cool. Great.
Yeah. Hmm.
Also, I hate to do this, but I should probably let you guys go pretty soon because it's like 7 here already.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah, we've been on for a long time.
it's been on for a
hours.
minute. I don't feel too bad, but I love talking to y'all. And we gotta set up sprint soon.
Yes.
Start
And
buddy
also-
reading. Is it Such Lovely Skin that we're buddy reading?
Yes.
And then we're reading Verity and Mantis.
Mantis.
For April. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that right? God, doing every other month confuses my brain because I'm like, what month is that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're
Equivalent.
doing Such Lovely Skin this month. We're doing
Yeah.
The unofficial.
Mantis and Verity.
month.
Yes.
Also, I bought Verity from a used bookstore, so I have it now, so I'm ready. Which is
It's on my shelf
Ooh.
over there. I bought it for
Yeah,
$7.
My
I
cousin
also
gave
bought it
me-
for $7. Let's go.
Wow.
that's- My cousin gave me a copy because she was like, I read this and it fucked me up and I want you to read it. And I was like, okay.
Perfect.
So, and she's not a reader and she liked it. So I was like, okay, well, we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Dang.
we also need to schedule watch parties.
Yes.
Yes, we do. I need to see the 3rd season of
Yeah.
Fuckboy
Yeah.
because I
Gotta
started
get on
it.
that. Okay, April. We're doing Mantis. We're doing Verity. We're doing F Boy Island.
Set, done. Good.
We're gonna done.
Can't wait.
Oh my god.
Oh, the end of tax season, just all the good things are happening to me in April now.
Love it.
I still need to do my taxes. Gosh dang. I'm getting down to the wire.
I did mine. And 180 others.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah.
I'll probably I hit 300 last year. So
Okay.
and we're short staffed this year because of things that happened with my coworker that involved him going to jail for a time.
Was it the
So-
creepy one?
Yeah.
Oh, tea.
So we lost him, and then the bookkeeper decided to quit. And now we're training a new bookkeeper, which is overwhelming in the middle
Yeah.
of tax season. And
Yeah.
the 2 like managers who have been at this job for a very long time are refusing to do taxes this year because they only want to review. And I'm like, hey pals, we're not going to be able to finish these returns in the drawers if you guys don't do some work.
Yeah.
It's just a hot mess.
That's a party.
Yikes.
Oh.
Thriving.
Fun and fresh.
All right. I gotta let you guys go.
Adios.
Fun as always. I think American Rapture was a 3.
Love how we've circled back to our final ratings at the end.
Yeah,
That is,
I think my solid 2.5 is correct.
Yeah.
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 I don't know where I am. I'm still vegetating on it.
Hey, I think there's nothing wrong with gut instinct being like, this feels like a 4, to
Yeah.
later discuss and go, they do have points though.
Yes. Yeah.
Listen, I
You
gave it a
enjoyed it in the moment.
3.5 and then talked myself out of that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are very true points.
I rate based off enjoyment mostly. And
Yeah.
so I can think that a book is like 2 stars, but if I had a really fun time, it's getting a 5. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can acknowledge that it's not good, but
go for you.
No, I think that's a fair point. All right. Well, thank you to folks who watched our Yap session. And we'll be back to discuss Verity and Mating with the Mantis.
Yeah, we will.
I'm so excited.
And we'll also do sprints as well.
Yes. Alea, don't forget to check your phone because you do have a gift waiting for you on there. And I know you've probably already forgotten.
You know we will.
I also forgot.
Oh my god. Well,
I was really ready to be like, all right, I gotta text them the next list of horror books.
Yeah.
About.
We were all gonna get jump scared.
Yeah. Well, with the fun and spicy pick that awaits me, I think it's time to call it a day. So, adios.
This was